Hello everyone, like, subscribe and share fanfiction audiobook for next part and support for PC. Give super chat please. Chapter 81. What are you yelling for? Don't mention me if there's nothing to do. The head on the right popped out. Two more hands also appeared, gesticulating. On it was the design drawing of the 10,000 kingdoms. The next part will include not only the giant kingdom, but also the long-armed tribe, the fur tribe, the long-leg tribe. When it is fully built, it will be very lively. Kowloon Island, Dragon Prison, Shampoo Land, 10,000 kingdoms. A main island plus 3 island rings is the real Kowloon Kingdom. After the first martial arts tournament is held, Mary Gosa will be moved here and merged with Kowloon Island. Ye Fengjai's retirement plan will be truly completed. There really are two personalities. The red hair pirates shouted in unison. It's too outrageous. One likes gossip about food, and the other likes farming and infrastructure. The former is called Ye, and the latter is called Feng. They are two personalities differentiated from Ye Feng. It's lunch break, stop making noise. A third head suddenly appeared in Ye Feng's body. The other two heads immediately shut their mouths. They all returned to their bodies and disappeared. This body without a head and arms was a monster among monsters in the eyes of the red hair pirates, a pirate group that had experienced countless adventures. Then, the legs also disappeared. It completely turned into a meatball. Why would Hancock like such a thing? Rayleigh wanted to cry but had no tears. He originally thought that Ye Feng was just a little abnormal. When he learned that he had multiple personalities, he just comforted himself in his heart that it was normal for a lunatic to be like this. Who would have thought that? Ye Feng was completely inhuman now. For a moment, the cotters of the red hair pirates were silent. They finally understood why Ye Feng asked the 4 emperors' pirates to come and deliver food. Why did he casually ask the celestial dragons to send heavenly gold? It was all done casually. Whatever he thought of was what he did. For a neurotic guy, he does have a certain logic in doing things. It's just his unique logic. It's hard for outsiders to understand. If Kaido dominated the world, became the pirate king, the king of the world, the king of extreme evil, and enjoyed the heavenly gold like the celestial dragons, what would he do? It must be out of ambition to build an enlarged version of Wano country. What about Big Mom? He would choose delicious food, and let countless people do their best to make all kinds of delicious food for her every day. But the result is that they will throw away all after eating a little, acting recklessly. Why does it seem normal in them, but become weird after all the integration in Ye Feng? Now the answer is finally found. Ye Feng doesn't need a reason to do things. Just give what you want. Why so much nonsense? I will prepare a meal when I remember you. It's so simple and convenient. But thinking of this, Beckman felt a sense of inability to solve the problem. What's the point of them dealing with an invincible lunatic? Even if the whole world joins forces to defeat him, how will the history books of later generations be written? Once upon a time there was a man named Ye Feng. He was wild, he was ambitious and wanted to dominate the world, but was defeated by the righteous people. But the truth will be discovered by the world sooner or later. People will understand it on that day. The smile that Ye Feng brought to the world was much more joyful than painful. And he was not going to dominate the world. What would happen? Thinking of this, as one of the few people who knew about the existence of Joy Boy, Vice President Beckman was already sweating coldly. The look he gave Ye Feng was no longer doubtful, nor was it horror. It was a kind of disbelief. He severely damaged the original evil overlord and brought hope and happiness to more people. In the end, he was defeated by the world and slandered as an evil existence. He was eventually erased from history until he was known to the world and became the next him. What is this? Of course it is Joy Boy. Beckman stared at this neurotic being with unstable personality floating in the air. He took a deep breath. Mr. Ye Feng, can you show yourself for a moment? I have something to ask you. Beckerman's voice had not yet fallen. The meatball turned into a lotus and slowly bloomed. A new Ye Feng was born from it. He sat on the chair with an indifferent look on his face. I was a little mentally unstable just now. This probably happens every day. but it only takes a short while to get back to normal. Feng waved his hand, looking like he couldn't stand anyone in the world. Rayleigh almost cried when he saw this scene. Yes. Feng is back. Will this affect Mr. Feng's condition? Beckman asked cautiously. Of course, he would. Feng said without hesitation. The crew members quickly pricked up their ears. Sure enough. The King of Evil is not invincible. He will also be weakened. Once I enter this state, my strength will be multiplied by 1.5 times, but that is after all, I am divided into 3 parts. Feng ate all the watermelon in the fruit plate in one bite, and he felt particularly happy. 1.5 times? Is it stronger? Beckman calmed down. Fortunately, the evil war did not break out at noon. Otherwise, Whitebeard and his men would lose even more miserably. The head on your left side said that the head that didn't come out is your body. How do you explain this? Lakilu ate the barbecue with big mouthfuls, full of curiosity. It must be nonsense. Do you believe in the split personality? He is not very smart. Feng doesn't like people with bad brains. But in his opinion, he seems to be the only smart person in the world. He ate all the food in the tavern and stored it all as energy. Feng just looked up at the 2 captains of the giant soldier pirates. The blue demon Turai and the red demon Broki. They both lowered their heads and looked at Feng. Long. Feng used the expansion fruit to transform into a giant. He was even taller than the 2 giant captains. Sitting on the hillside. You giants have sent so many people here, do you want to join my Wangguo Island ring? Feng welcomes such a visionary guy. There are many branches of giants. Although our Elbaf is the most powerful one, there are not so many of them. Moreover, the island where Elbaf is located is huge. In comparison, your Kowloon kingdom is less than 1/10 of the giant kingdom. Even if we giants join forces, we can't move such an island. Dong Li almost finished speaking with a smile. He didn't believe that there really was anyone who would move islands everywhere like the demon Oz 500 years ago. How powerful would that be? How much time would it take? It sounds really good. Feng didn't hear anything that couldn't be moved. He just searched for keywords. The total number of islands in the kingdom of Kowloon is less than 1/10 of Elbaf. That's really a good place. Some things should stay the same. The red ghost Broki was about to speak. Feng had already made up his mind. Everyone, since you are sincere in coming here, I will accept Elbaf. You don't have to go home, this is your home. Feng teleported directly to the new world. The giant kingdom is about to rise from the ground. At this time, the elephant was walking aimlessly in the sea. It didn't know that a bigger creature was about to be born in this world. Chapter 82. What is that? The elephant master always felt that something seemed to have just passed by his eyes, but when he looked up, he could not see anything. Just keep walking like this. Carrying a mission of nearly 1,000 years, that is the order given by the master. If you are born here, you must keep walking step by step, to walk around this world, to say goodbye and gain insights. But the elephant master never thought that this walk would last for 900 years. The king was said to come back, but no one knew where he died. Thinking back to the past, even the Red Earth continent was created, witnessing a glorious era. What is the result? Now he has become an elephant master who is afraid of fighting. Being punished to keep walking non-stop. Elbaf. There are actually quite a few giants on the sea. There is a giant tribe in the West Sea, and the captain of the West Army, Mori, is one of the best. There are giant snowmen on Pang Island, and they are 2 brothers. They are very powerful, but they are far from being as powerful as supernovas. In the fog of the Devil's Triangle in the Grand Line, there are also some monsters walking all day long with spears in their hands. Not to mention the New World, there are so many giants. From the mountain beard Alulu and waterfall beard Yorulu of the old giant pirates, to the blue demon Turai and red demon Broki of the giant pirates, to the new giant pirates Helding and Gertz. The world-famous demon tribe is a monster that the giant tribe can hardly match. Demon Oz and Little Demon Oz are both war fortresses with unlimited potential. San Juan Wolf, who escaped from Impel Down, is called a giant battleship. The sea monsters on Fishman Island are essentially the fusion of the blood of the fishmen and the giants. Looking at the whole world, if there is really a place that should be defined as the place where the legends of giants on the sea gather the most, it is also the symbol of the warrior giants. Then it must be the giant kingdom, Elbaf. Big Mom once broke out of gluttony here, devoured the lamb house, and killed the captain of the old giant pirate group. Red Hair marked this place as his own territory, and ended Big Mom's ambition. Even though he was called the strongest man in the world before, Whitebeard's height was the limit of ordinary people, 6.66 meters. For giants, he was just a child. And Big Mom's taller and more terrifying mutant physique, but only giants with dwarfism can be like this. It is called the most powerful race in the world. Whoever can get them can dominate the world, the giants. Everyone says that Red Hair Shanks has no ambition. But they almost forget that this man is the Sea Emperor who is most friendly with the giants. Once the battle for the throne of Pirate King begins, he is bound to be the most powerful player. It's a pity that the sea today is no longer what it used to be. Red-haired Shanks has become a lone commander. Giant Kingdom. In the tavern, the giants were chatting happily. Red Hair actually invited us to the Kowloon Kingdom. It seems something happened. That's right, given his character, he won't let us take action unless it's absolutely necessary. It doesn't matter, no force can defeat the giant soldier pirates. There are still some weak humans working and having fun in the tavern. These are the weak people protected by the Red Hair pirates. In the New World, there are countless small islands scattered all over the sea. Among them, two forces once protected some ordinary people, Whitebeard and Red Hair. Now that Whitebeard is dead, it should be Kaido and Big Mom who are frantically fighting for territory. Unexpectedly, the two were directly defeated by Feng. The plan has not started yet, but the people are gone first. It would be nice if all islands were as big as Elbaf, so people wouldn't have to travel so much. You think so? There was a legend in our Elbaf. Once there was a sun god who joined forces with the weak people all over the world to go to an island and flatten the Red Earth continent, turning it into a supercontinent that everyone can remember. What happened? The drunken pirate was a little curious. He still had a bandage on his arm and was not young anymore. He looked like an old pirate who was protected by the Red Hair pirates. He looked kind and gentle, but his bounty was only 10 million Baileys. In his early years, he was an explorer who drifted to the sea because his hometown could not afford the gold. The result? The sun god and those people failed. They lost to the nobles from all over the world. Until today, history is still repeating itself. The legend of Nika will soon be forgotten by the world. The giants drank and recalled the ancient legends of the sea, which they found incredible. As giants, their lifespans are much longer than humans. The old crew members of the giant pirates had witnessed the sea hundreds of years ago. They had also heard the older generation tell the ancient legends in person. Just as the Valley of the Gods will be remembered by one generation and regarded as a legend by the next generation of listeners. The powerful strength and long lifespan have become the basis for the giants to have even older legends. Boom! Just when everyone was immersed in the longing for the ancient legends, the ground shook a few times. Then there was a loud earth-shaking noise. The ground vibrated faster, and then calmed down, as if nothing had happened. There was just a feeling of rising on the ground, that is, there was a feeling of falling suddenly. After a while, the feeling of falling disappeared, replaced by the illusion of moving horizontally in a certain direction. Just when everyone was confused, someone suddenly broke in from outside the door. Oh no! What happened to alarm a 150-year-old giant like me? The earth is flying. The visitor pointed at the sword and shield. He was originally a patrolling giant warrior. Who would have thought that he would witness Elbaf ascending to the sky? When the people in the tavern walked out of the door, the house was already full of people, and they all stared at the sea of clouds in amazement. Outside the island, looking down, it turned out to be the vast and endless sea. The giant kingdom took off. What is going on? Why don't I have any perception? I want it. What's the use of this observation haki? The giants and ordinary humans are equally puzzled. What happened? Who can moonwalk? I can fly. A winged birdman flapped his wings and flew into the air, but he didn't come back. The giant kingdom moved too fast and disappeared from his sight. Alas, I haven't reached the island yet. The speeding giant kingdom in the sky can be said to be truly covering the sky and the sun. In comparison, the golden lion was just a small fight, not worth mentioning. Until a capable person opened his eyes. He used a superhuman ability similar to perspective to see through the ground and saw a person with his own eyes. A man who held up the giant kingdom with both hands and flew in the air at high speed. What did you see? The others were all confused, wondering what kind of power could do this. I saw a man who lifted up the earth. The man with the ability fell to the ground, feeling a wave of fear. Because when he saw the man, the latter also looked up and smiled at him. That kind of creepy fear is impossible to forget easily. It's too scary. How could anyone lift Elbaf? Even 1,000 or 10,000 demon Oz couldn't do it. Some people simply didn't believe it. If there really was such a monster, then the power of the giant would be nothing. The ability user looked at him helplessly. The voice was very low, but everyone heard it clearly. What if he is the king of evil? Chapter 83. It's him. The giant warriors originally thought it was unreasonable. That's too reasonable. But now it seems reasonable. He single-handedly destroyed the Navy headquarters and the Whitebeard pirates. The king of evil who was treated as a side dish by the 4 emperors. Now his strength has been recognized on the sea, and this era is named after him. No reason. Absolute strength is everything. The giants worship strength, fine wine, and promises. People like Feng who have absolute power are indeed worthy of their respect. But why did he do that? Who knows? The giant warriors have never felt so tired. Are they going to be smashed to the Red Earth continent and crush all the Tianlong people to death? Now the Tianlong people have just offered the Tianshang gold, and the news will not be broadcast to the world until tomorrow morning. The giants don't know yet. The Tianlong people have reached a perverted reconciliation with Feng. The price is that the Tianlong people become the ones who pay the Tianshang gold, and Feng becomes the new and only Tianlong person. It has to be said. When it comes to not being a human being, Feng's first place has always been unquestionable. I've heard that the king of evil likes to collect various islands. Our Elbaf was also collected. Is this the result after the red hair pirates took the captain and others to have a talk? Damn, these traitors. Don't be impatient. The truth has not yet been revealed, and you must not lose trust in your partners. When the giants were getting anxious, the giants who were looking down at the sea from the edge of the island were already shocked. What did they see? A giant elephant, the legendary Elephant Lord. The Elephant Lord who carried a kingdom on his back. His height exceeded 10,000 meters, and the giants were all miniature in front of him. His existence itself meant that he was truly the strongest creature in the world. That is the Elephant Master. It was my first time going out to sea, and I saw the legendary creature. The sea is really interesting. I wonder if we will soon cross the Red Continent. Yeah, come to think of it, it's quite interesting to be able to fly over the heads of the celestial dragons. The Tianlong people have a deep foundation. Don't underestimate them. On the sea, those without strength are not qualified to dominate. The giants also have many rational strong men. At this moment, the Elephant Master was walking on the sea as usual. He looked up inadvertently, puzzled by the early setting of the sun today. Unexpectedly, when he looked up, it was not dark, but the sky collapsed. An endless continent was floating in the air. A giant was carrying it forward. After seeing this scene, the Elephant Master instinctively recalled 900 years ago. Giant? A giant that was so powerful that he could carry mountains. Even more powerful, enough to support the existence of heaven and earth. Taller than the figure in his previous memory. The same scene had appeared in the Elephant Master's mind. People at that time also fantasized about joining forces to connect the earth and create a brand new world. They wanted to make the Red Earth continent burst its dam and let the world's sea run through one place, Albule. They wanted countless people to board the flattened Red Earth continent, and all races coexist. They wanted fairness, justice, and freedom to become the life principles in everyone's heart. They wanted to build a huge cage to trap evil. Use powerful military forces to maintain the justice of the sea, and then use fair judgment to protect every kindness. But now, it has become a weapon in the hands of the enemy. Even the bridge that was originally going to extend from the Red Earth continent and connect to every island in the world. It has also become a tool for the celestial dragons to consume and torture countless people. When the dust settles, all the fantasies of the past have become chess pieces of God. How absurd this world is! When the Lord of the Elephants saw Feng, it was as if he saw countless figures superimposed. What's more special is that he saw the real king of mankind, Joy Boy. 500 years ago, the demon Oz was rampant on the sea, moving islands back to his hometown and splicing them together. When he died, he was portrayed as a demon all his life. But this is exactly the implementation of the ancient will. Let the earth reorganize and merge into one piece. But it doesn't matter. He has been frozen to death, and the person who shot it was not the so-called nature, the cold air. It was the last ice fruit ability user. Wow! The sea water hit his legs again. The Lord of the Elephants has long lost his feeling for all this. It has walked for countless years and is already tired. But it cannot stop, so the tiredness turns into numbness, and it even feels that this is what life itself is like. Finally, the elephant stopped. Feng looked down at it. Elephant Master. Feng was in a very good mood. All the perspectives just now were from the giants and the Lord of the Elephants. From Feng's perspective, the course of events was completely different. Guided by the permanent pointer, he soon found the giant kingdom of Elbaf. Since Feng had unilaterally announced that the giant kingdom would be incorporated into his own Kowloon kingdom, he directly moved all his people away. What was even more surprising was that the giants did not object, except for a guy who looked like a bird fruit user who escaped halfway. There was also a superhuman user who looked at him. In short, the giants were all looking forward to this move. As for the Lord of the Elephants, Feng saw it halfway through the flight. He was a little embarrassed. The giants and the fur tribes were both necessary parts of building the 10,000 kingdoms. Then came the long-armed tribe and the long-legged tribe. As long as the Lord of the Elephants was brought over, the prototype of the 10,000 kingdoms could be created. The effect should be quite good. But what should be done now? Feng's strength is definitely enough. With the awakening of the power fruit and the awakening of the divine power of the Nezha form, not to mention a giant kingdom, even the Red Earth continent is not impossible. If humans dare to underestimate the power of God, they must have encountered a false god. Long. Feng transformed himself into a man as tall as the Elephant Master. He seemed to be standing on the sea. In fact, the giant kingdom was still suspended in the air. Lord Elephant, welcome my king. Witnessed the giant transformation. If this isn't Joy Boy, who is it? The Lord Elephant finally made it to this day and immediately knelt on the ground. The Zhou kingdom on his back was almost overturned because of this. The fur tribe even glanced at the sky inadvertently and was shocked and speechless. They saw the sky turned pitch black. If not for the fact that many animals can see at night, now they are just blind. In the end, what happened? Look, there is a giant as tall as the Elephant Master. He looks so familiar, I feel like I've seen him in the newspaper. Was the Elephant Lord defeated? Why did he fall? What is he doing? Damn, the Elephant Lord was lifted up by his hand. The Elephant Lord knelt on the ground. Feng's palm turned into a lotus and lifted up his limbs. A huge pink lotus also extended to lift up the giant kingdom. Feng held up 2 lotuses with his hands and took the giant kingdom and the Elephant Lord away. He also floated in the air with the body of a super giant. Golden light appeared all over his body. It illuminated the dark sky. People looked up and recorded his appearance in photos and paintings. Historians called him, the first light giant on the sea. People call him, the ancestor giant. Chapter 84. Ding! New achievement unlocked, God of Face. God of Face unlock condition, pretend. You are really good at pretending. There is no one like you before and there will be no one like you after. Achievement Reward, Seraph, Ultimate Edition Angel King Whitebeard Newgate. Compared to the failed product, Seraph White 2, this version is not only comprehensively upgraded, but also based on the steel balloon physique. The serum of the tremor fruit will exert a stronger power of the bloodline factor. You found a biological father for White 2 and Seraph White 2, which is amazing. In mid-air, Ye Feng took out the King of Angels directly from the system backpack. It turned out to be the tall white beard. It's just the appearance of his peak period, with the mutant physique of steel balloon. If the Seraph means replacing the 7 warlords of the sea, then the King of Angels has surpassed the limits of human beings. Reached the level of the 4 emperors. From this moment on, Vegapunk, who even the natural Seraph can't do, will be completely surpassed by Ye Feng with the plug-in. Even the Seraph can continue to grow, but for them to grow into a monster comparable to the generals and the 4 emperors, it takes not only time but also domineering. And domineering is a powerful force that needs to be constantly squeezed to the limit of life before it can be developed. It is too difficult for the Seraphim to do it. More importantly, the existence of domineering is not only physique and strength, but also a strong will. This means that even if Vegapunk catches up with Ye Feng's pace one day and develops a natural Seraphim, he will not be able to use domineering. The horror of the King of Angels lies in this. Not only can they continue to become stronger and grow in battle. More importantly, the soul and will of the King of Angels also exist. Did you let me be reborn in this form? Or is this just another me created by Vegapunk? Whitebeard turned his head and looked at Ye Feng. He didn't have much hostility towards this enemy. Dying in battle was not a shame for a pirate. It was even an honor. Tongzi, you are amazing. You actually came up with a set of Haiwengzing's impure world reincarnation. Ye Feng was originally curious about how the system made the Angel King more powerful and at the same time have a will and soul. It turned out that the dead Whitebeard was pulled out directly from the underworld. Who is Tongzi? Whitebeard looked puzzled. It's nothing. You will be responsible for guarding the dragon prison from now on. I will call you if there is anything. As a responsible king, Ye Feng of course arranged the work for him immediately. How could I let you control me? Who do you think I am? Whitebeard refused decisively. But he fell into silence. He kept repeating the same sentence. The Angel King starts intelligent takeover, the soul is resting, and enters the state of no domineering. Interesting. If you don't obey, you will automatically enter the state of no domineering, allowing Ye Feng to control the Angel King. If you obey, you can have your own will and use domineering. Little Mustache, your sons are still in dragon prison. You don't want them to stay there forever, do you? This body is actually beyond his control. Whitebeard regained his will. But what really made him accept Ye Feng's orders was the Whitebeard pirates in dragon prison. Technology is like this. It cannot create souls, but it can create and control souls. You can choose not to work, but that will only give me one more fighting force that is stronger than the 7 warlords of the sea but weaker than the 4 emperors. Ye Feng never felt that he was bullying the weak. Everyone was just working. Compared to Huang Quan, this body is more like a bondage. Whitebeard decisively chose to remain silent. The Angel King once again made a similar sound. When the Angel King is activated, he can only take over. His soul is resting and has entered a state without domineering power. Huang Quan? There is a similar effect in the devil fruit, but I don't know what that place looks like. Ye Feng remembered that Brook had lived in Shampoo since he took over Rab. Brook had superb skills and was already the hottest star in the Shampoo Island circle. Yes, there is Shura Road, where you can fight with the strong men of all ages, and I met many old friends. Whitebeard mentioned Huang Quan and appeared again. Angel King, this system is good. It can take over and play by itself. Ye Feng was a little tempted. But this reward from the achievement system was originally derived from Ye Feng letting his other personalities take over his body when he was taking a nap. Although all other personalities will be wiped out once he wakes up. But the system still learned this method. Being able to learn the advantages from Ye Feng is also a great achievement of the achievement system. What is a system? Whitebeard looked puzzled. It was quite strange that he had just come back to life in a special way. You can think of it as a devil fruit with all the abilities. The considerate Ye Feng also gave an explanation. God. Whitebeard frowned. Hearing Ye Feng's words, he really remembered something. There is such a fruit. Ye Feng was even more surprised. He just gave a metaphor. Devil fruits are originally derived from human imagination. That's why there is a saying that devil fruits choose their hosts. The wool can also be preserved in the fruit waiting for the right person. Among them, there is one who can realize all imaginations, that is, to fuse all devil fruits and create everything, God. I didn't expect that you are the legend, I should have thought of it earlier. Whitebeard's answer was the most surprising. Tongzi, is the little mustache a second creation? Devil fruits are indeed based on human imagination, so naturally there is also a mother body that can create other devil fruits based on imagination. This system is not God, the host does not have to worry. The system said politely, and a window immediately appeared on the screen. Do you give the interpretation a 5-star rating? No. Ye Feng decisively refused. This rating failed for unknown reasons. The system will continue to work hard to get a full score. I knew you would do this. Ye Feng looked as if he had expected this. What did you do, kid? How long has it been since the evil war? Whitebeard was gossiping with Ye Feng, but he didn't expect to see the giant kingdom and the elephant lord when he looked up. It's really against the will of heaven. Can Ye Feng do something that belongs to the human category? Nearly 30 hours should have passed by now. On the Red Earth continent, Ye Feng flew by so lightly. Whitebeard was completely numb. After he died, he was mocked by Roger and others, saying that he had lived so long just to bully newcomers. When they asked him how he died, they learned that he was beaten to death by a man named Ye Feng. Everyone remained silent. Because no matter what, they would not believe that there was an unknown creature like Ye Feng in the world. Whitebeard was so angry that he held down Blackbeard and beat him up, and then he felt relieved. Unexpectedly, he was forcibly resurrected by Ye Feng in a flash. Little mustache. Are the people over there still here? We can all come over for tea when we have time. It's not impossible to add a few more people to the world's #1 martial arts tournament. Are you going to participate? If you win, you can get more vacation opportunities. Whitebeard didn't understand a word of Ye Feng's words. But the celestial dragons understood. They understood completely. After all, they flew over your head, how could they not understand? Red Earth continent. Marijoa. The Knights of God who had just walked out of the palace looked up at the sky, already dumbfounded. Someone whispered in a low voice. Why don't you give up this time? Chapter 85. What is that? Whitebeard looked down, and Mary Gosa of the Red Earth continent was as small as a toy. Those celestial dragons, whether they were elites, slaves, or the Knights of God, the 5 elders, were so small that they could not be seen. This was the first time in his life that he could look down on the celestial dragons in such a condescending way. Come to think of it, is this life really that powerful? But a beast trapped in the new world. It was not until he was old that he was bewitched to the Grand Line, and with one sword, his head fell off. Those so-called freedoms of pirates were nothing more than the shackles of his family to him. They are ants. Ye Feng replied. In his opinion, the Tianlong people were just like ants, whether physically or psychologically. The Tianlong people were vulnerable. The master looked up at Ye Feng. What are you going to do to become the overlord of this world and enslave the world from now on? Whitebeard had also met a man named Rox who had the same ambition. He was just one step away from success, but he was completely wiped out. Now there are only a handful of people who know his name. Most of them were imprisoned in Dragon Prison by Ye Feng. Dominate the world? What is that? A child's goal? If such a small goal is also considered an ambition, it is too ridiculous. After all, I did it 3 months before I retired. Dominate the world. Don't be ridiculous. Since the failure of the Celestial Dragon Rescue Plan called the Top War, it was renamed the Extreme Evil War. Even Yumu's air energy strikes became Ye Feng's nutritious meal. The so-called domination is insignificant. This era has long been named after me. But so what? I have never cared about other people's opinions. I do whatever I want. This is the retirement life of a pirate. Feng flew over the Red Earth continent, holding up the giant kingdom in one hand and the elephant lord in the other. Just like this, he is invincible. What the Knights of God, the 5 elders. Just throw these 2 stones down, and their highest combat power will be smashed into garbage. Can pirates really retire? The Navy will keep hunting you down to the end. There are too few guys like Rayleigh who can still live in the world at ease. Because his existence is telling the world that the Roger pirates may not have Roger anymore, but he is still here. Whitebeard was a little melancholy. He had never been afraid of the Navy. Even when Sengoku and Garp joined forces, it was just a fight to the death. But what else? As a pirate, you should be on the road all your life, no matter if it is evil or free. This line of work ends with death on the sea. Feng is not retiring, he is dominating directly. If Whitebeard became the overlord of an era in the pirate world, and was gradually caught up by latecomers, resulting in the emergence of the 3 emperors and the 4 emperors, then Feng is dominating the whole world, and the title of the King of Evil has surpassed the Pirate King and the King of the World. Hero of the Navy. As long as the title of Pirate King exists, the 4 emperors will always be his subjects. This is not retirement at all, it is that no one is qualified to fight him. Only when there is a gap in combat power can there be an absolute sense of security. If Yumo had Feng's strength, why would he hide behind history? After all, more than 30 hours have passed since Feng dominated the world. No one else has stood up and clamored, announcing that he will become the new King of Evil. As long as Roger is alive, all pirates on the sea will be his subjects. As long as Feng is undefeated, all pirates, marines, and ambitious people in the world will be guerrillas. Really? He seems to be the only one who can retire peacefully in your old times. Feng has flown over the Red Earth continent. Light once again briefly descended on Mary Gosa. The celestial dragons breathed a sigh of relief. They had originally obeyed the orders of the 5 elders and the Knights of God and did not intend to move away, preferring death to submission. Now, after Feng's deliberate threat, they are completely ready to move. What dignity, arrogance, world nobility! In front of the slap of absolute strength, nothing. Rayleigh, gulalala. Whitebeard laughed. Few people knew about this past event. Everyone thought he was just lazing around in Shampoo Land, relaxed and happy. In fact, after Roger died, the whole world launched a hunt for all the crew members and related personnel of Roger's pirate group. This also included the legendary shipwright Tom and others. Even Roger's wife was hiding everywhere. In my opinion, Ace's birth was impossible. It seems that Garp helped a lot. Whitebeard seemed to recall an unknown past. After that, Rayleigh stood up. When he appeared in Shabayati, everyone thought he was showing his threat. In order to protect the rest of the crew, even Xia Qi opened a tavern. In a sense, they can be said to be in the same boat. The fact is the same as the Navy thought. The appearance of Rayleigh forced them to stop the pursuit. Some secrets, some people want to hide forever, so as long as someone can make them public at any time, the keeper of the secret will also be threatened. This is why Rayleigh appears in Shabayati all year round. He has been fighting alone for the rest of the Roger pirates. After Whitebeard finished speaking, he stretched out a hand and instinctively wanted to drink a glass. 2 hands grew out of Feng's body and threw a wine pot from Wano country to Whitebeard. He drank the fine wine brewed by Big Mom in Wangguo. Gulala, your wine looks familiar. Whitebeard drank the wine in his hand and felt something was wrong. Kaido and Big Mom's pirate group sent it, and it tastes pretty good. Feng said calmly. On the contrary, the usually calm Whitebeard was stunned. What on earth did you do in such a short time? It's nothing. A new newspaper will be out in a few hours, and you will understand. Feng drank the wine and threw the wine pot into the system backpack. It turns out that Rayleigh Sr. also has so much loneliness. I thought he was a senior in the retired pirate world. I didn't expect that I was the real number 1. This is why you call Rayleigh your senior. Whitebeard was confused. The wine was indeed strong, but it was far less explosive than Ye Feng's words. What if it's not true? Ye Feng answered seriously, and he obviously didn't lie. It's nothing, just be happy, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Whitebeard didn't understand. He had just been killed by Ye Feng less than 2 days ago. It was fine if he was forcibly resurrected, but he actually talked so much. Who would believe it if he told others? However, considering what Ye Feng was doing before and now, he felt that it was the most normal thing for them to talk to each other. Here we are, let's go home. Ye Feng threw the giant kingdom to the side of Fishman Island and also placed the Elephant Lord there. The two behemoths were thrown down like this, and they directly set off incredible waves. The 1,000-meter-high waves were beyond the imagination of even Whitebeard's tremor fruit. Stop! Ye Feng said the word stop casually. The waves were immediately frozen and filled with a golden light. Then, the waves were broken, and after the earth shook, everything returned to calm. This works too. Whitebeard stared at Ye Feng, unable to understand what kind of creature this was. The abilities of the mythical beasts are always ever-changing. Ye Feng was right. Just now, it was the fusion of the power of the Fen fruit and the form of Nezha. The waves were frozen and then quickly decomposed. It was like a freezing technique that could make people explode on the spot. Chapter 86. The Eclipse of the Sun, Tsunami, Earthquake. A series of supernatural disasters made the kingdom of Kowloon confused. All the disasters were quickly quelled. Instead, there was a giant elephant, a supercontinent, and the kingdom of giants. The area of the kingdom of Kowloon suddenly expanded to a point that ordinary people could not reach. Many sea kings were crushed to death. Damn it, the king of the human race is such an inhuman being. The windless weather is good for humans, and it's good for us sea kings to move. Where is Poseidon? As a mermaid princess, she actually helps the king of evil raise fish. The complaints of the sea kings are useless. Soon, they saw 4 big feet, which were the elephant kings. Lord Elephant? Why are you here? Brought here by the human king, I finally don't have to walk aimlessly anymore. The Elephant Lord looked down at the sea kings. They were the ancient beings who had once followed the sea king Poseidon. We are here, to accompany the human king and the sea king. The sea kings went around and finally found a reason to lie to themselves. It's really embarrassing. They agreed to save the world and defeat evil in the future. But Ye Feng took on all the responsibility alone, which made them look like trash. His power surpassed that of Joyboy. There was a warm glow on his body. It was the sun god we were waiting for, no doubt about it. The Lord of the Elephants was very happy. After 900 years, he had finally completed his mission as he wished. Unfortunately, I didn't hear the drum of freedom. Could it be that I was too late? The elephant owner asked in confusion. Yes, that drumbeat can ring out the indomitable spirit in everyone's heart, but it's a pity that you came too late. The sea kings don't even believe what they say. Do they still need Nika's heartbeat drumbeat? Ye Feng's fist can split everyone's head, and his stomach can be used as a drum. I see. The elephant master was satisfied and decided to take a break. This would allow the Zhou kingdom to establish a real connection with the outside world. The elephant master and the sea kings briefly reminisced about the past. The giant pirates were dumbfounded at the port of Sabayati. The red hair pirates were all stunned. We were just joking, did you take it seriously? It's over. The giant kingdom was really carried over. I had heard a very outrageous piece of information a long time ago. Ye Feng moved the sacred tree Eve to the calm belt. I thought it was a rumor. Until they came to Shabayati with their own eyes and saw the sacred tree, as well as the Fishman Island and Shabayati archipelago that were moved there. A sense of awe rang in my mind. I didn't expect that in a blink of an eye, the giant kingdom was in trouble. Blue Ghost, we are doomed this time. The Red Ghost thought a lot, but still couldn't imagine how a human could move Elbaf. Even if Oz were alive, he would have to kowtow to him. Red Ghost, do you remember that the giants had a legendary king? The Blue Ghost held a sword in one hand and a shield in the other. When he looked at Elbaf, he was terrified, excited, and relieved. You mean, the Joy Boy who transformed our ancestors from bloodline factors into giants through the power of Nika. The two of them became more and more excited as they talked. According to legend, the earth, mountains, buildings, and trees can be changed at will. Joy Boy can control lightning and fire, and his whole body emits white light. His heartbeat is like a drum, giving strength to his companions and making the enemy afraid. With full strength, he can even permanently change the bloodline factor and create a real giant race. The ancestor who always likes to laugh Nika Nika when talking. No, are you not sober? Usopp's father Jesus was confused. What's going on? It's true that the giants worship power, but they haven't reached the point of recognizing their ancestors. He is not the user of the Nika fruit, and Shanks is not waiting for him. Ban Beckman quickly denied this possibility. No. The green ghost grinned. Mountain Beard told us when we were very young. When they were very young, the giants of that time also told us that Joy Boy would build a brand new world. A brand new world without hunger, disease, and with all races. And now, it is right before our eyes. Following his gaze, the 10,000 kingdoms in front of us have begun to take shape, are powerful, and are admired by the world. Shampoo Land, Dragon Prison, have not also replaced the Valley of the Gods, advancing the city. Damn, if the whole world is waiting for a neurotic guy, then the world must be crazy. The barbecue in Lake Elu's hand no longer smelled good. But after thinking about it carefully, what Ye Feng was doing was indeed the case. Could this kid really be playing the pig to eat the tiger? In fact, he had ambitions a long time ago, or to be more precise, dreams. After all, no one would do so many things, they were just coincidences out of interest. That was too outrageous. I think. You say, all this. Could it be that Ye Feng is just doing what he wants to do? It just so happens that they come together. It is a coincidence that Joey Boy's prophecy is fulfilled. Rayleigh is still clear-headed. But when he said it, he felt it was nonsense. Is there really such a coincidence in the world? Impossible. Beckman is a smart man. He picked up the Den Den Mushi and had to tell the red-haired man. Shanks. Den Den Mushi was picked up, and the red-haired voice came from the other end. Beckman. There was a loud noise in the new world just now. We are heading over to check it out. You must be careful. We? Beckman was a little confused. Who is the red-haired guy with? Beckman, 3 days later, we will go to Zhulong Island together. This time, an absolute war to destroy darkness will break out. Red Hair believes that everything is going according to plan. In fact, the loud noise just now should be the giant kingdom Elbaf, which was moved to Zhulong Island by Ye Feng. Don't ask why, because we saw it with our own eyes, and the Elephant Lord and the Zhou Kingdom were also involved. Beckman didn't know what to say. His brain began to buzz. After meeting Ye Feng, you'd better stay with him. Otherwise, all kinds of unbelievable things will happen as soon as you turn around. There was no answer from the other end of the Den Den Mushi. Red Hair was already stunned. It was too outrageous. From the kingdom of D back then, to Roger becoming the Pirate King. All added up, Ye Feng didn't do as much as he did. And not only are there a lot of jobs, but they are also outrageous, and they are all one-on-one hard jobs. Red Hair. What are you thinking about? Do your crew members know what just happened? Kaido's voice came, sounding unhappy. I think I heard the words of the giant. Big Mom also raised his own doubts. The voice of the Den Den Mushi stopped abruptly. Both sides were silent. This world must be crazy. The giant kingdom has to stay here. Because all the giants added together can't carry Elbaf. From the beginning of Ye Feng's achievement, he is the new king of Elbaf. If they don't keep silent at this moment, they will all go crazy. Chapter 87. Ding! New achievement unlocked, King of the Living. King of Cruel Life, unlocking conditions, you have shocked the world once again. This time, your cruel words surpassed the incident of the sacred tree, and your history, which was already regarded as a legend, has become a legend in the world. Achievement Reward, Seraph, Angel King Golden Lion Shiki. What? The old Golden Lion is not worthy of being on par with Whitebeard? Then come to the new restored version, even the broken double swords have been retempered. Revive, my defeated opponent. Fishman Island. Ye Feng, who was enjoying the cheers of the audience, once again lived up to everyone's expectations and let people see the power of their king. Countless people were looking forward to it, and their eyes were focused. A brand new angel king also appeared next to Ye Feng. Flying pirate, golden lion Shiki. Stop it, stop it. Roger, I provoke you. Odin, am I wrong to say you have no brains? The golden lion was still yelling. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, his soul was trapped in a new version of the Angel King. Newgate, why are you here? Teach turned his head and saw a tall and strong man with white beard. And he was a Newgate with wings and a mutant physique. You resurrected a fool. This is called impure world reincarnation. Ye Feng corrected Whitebeard's mistake. I don't know what the impure world reincarnation is, but it is indeed unlucky. Whitebeard thinks that people are dead once they die. This kind of forced resurrection is really like the style of Rox and Mariah. Especially Mariah, this kid was not dealt with by Kaido, and sooner or later he will be dealt with by Whitebeard. Although he was not imprisoned in the Impel Downs after fighting with the 4 emperors, but became one of the 7 warlords of the sea, it is the strength of Mariah, Mingo, Crocodile, and others. However, the sea has always been a place where the winners are the kings and the losers are the bandits. Golden Lion, who lost the naval battle to Roger that year, has been hiding his identity for 20 years. He is destined to be forgotten by the world. He was abused by Ye Feng when he was born, and now he has been reincarnated as the King of Angels. The look in his eyes when he looked at Ye Feng has changed. It's you again. Ha ha ha. Are you dead too? This underworld is getting more and more interesting. Golden Lion was so happy to see Ye Feng. He was finally able to take revenge. After he was beaten to death by Ye Feng, Whitebeard also died soon after. Then he told about how he was abused by Ye Feng. Golden Lion was so angry that he couldn't sleep for several days and nights. Fortunately, there are still Blackbeard and Kojiki Odin. One of these 2 people fell into the trap and was killed by Ye Feng, and the other didn't use his ultimate skill when the wind was favorable, but was killed by the wind. Naturally, it became the fun of Golden Lion. Now it's good. Seeing Ye Feng again, he can finally avenge his previous shame. You are not his opponent when you are alive, how can you be his opponent when you are dead? Ye Feng patted the Golden Lion's shoulder with sympathy. Be good, accept the reality. Ha ha ha, chop the waves. The Golden Lion wanted to attack, but when he thought about attacking Ye Feng, his eyes went dark. What's going on? What happened? Why don't you have martial ethics? This is called forced shutdown. Ye Feng glanced at the Golden Lion and expressed his consolation for this not-so-smart former opponent. Little Lion, from now on you and Little Beard will be in charge of guarding the Dragon Prison together. Dragon Prison. Golden Lion couldn't keep up with the version. By the time he regained control, Ye Feng had already left Fishman Island. Only he and Whitebeard were left. Newgate, what is Dragon Prison? You will know after you take a look. Whitebeard walked towards the Dragon Prison Island. How do you know the way? The Golden Lion was suspended in the air, surprised that he could still use the power of the floating fruit. Our souls are now housed in a cyborg body with intelligent control. After all, Whitebeard lived until recently and died, so he was not surprised by cyborgs. Moreover, there was a failure like Whitebeard too. Newgate. Don't you think it's a shame to live like this? Can't we show our ferocity as pirates at all? The Golden Lion kept nagging while flying in the sky. You have kept the rudder in your head for too long, and it doesn't work at all. We have all seen Huangquan and the sea. Now, isn't it time to take another look at the living? Whitebeard's wings stopped flapping. A huge cage appeared in front of him. It was strangely built, but full of sea stone power. Here, no prisoners were bound. But they were weakened by being alive here. The most important thing was that Ye Feng was alive. As long as they didn't surpass the King of Evil, it would be useless for them to escape. What's more, the sky, the ground, and the underground passages were all made of sea stone. People with special abilities were too weak to escape. People without special abilities were all domineering masters who just wanted to become stronger and challenge Ye Feng. You have a point. Golden Lion held 2 swords and stepped into the dragon prison. As the king of angels, his body, size, and appearance were all at their peak. He had no injuries, and had a stronger bloodline factor and mutant physique. He could call upon his fruit ability at any time. When he did not use the fruit ability of his bloodline factor, he was not affected by the sea stone like the seraphim. His 3-color domineering aura was also at its peak due to his strong physique. When he returned to the world, he really felt a sense of loss. When they stepped into the dragon prison together, a lot of eyes followed. They were stunned at first, and then turned to disbelief. Daddy! Fire Fist Ace was changing the bandages and healing the wounds of the captains of the Whitebeard pirates. He had never thought that the dead could be resurrected. No, Ace, that's most likely a seraph. Jinbei stopped Ace with one hand. Ace, my silly son, it seems that you have been tricked by that guy again. Whitebeard stood in front of the Fire Fist. I shouldn't have come back this time. But since that guy played a prank, there are some things I have to do. A lot of things, it's a long story. When Whitebeard talked freely and laughed as usual. Akainu, Aokiji and other strong men from the navy were frowning. When did Ye Feng even revive the dead? It's definitely not the seraph. Of course. What they were more curious about was the supercontinent that just flew over their heads. What kind of monster is that thing? Why is there an elephant taller than a mountain? Too many mysteries. There are still 2 hours left before the 48 hours after the end of the Extreme Evil War. How many heaven-defying events have happened in this world? Elbaf. The giants, young and old, all held swords and walked towards Ye Feng step by step. The center of Elbaf. The king of evil was about to face the challenge of his subjects. This was also the coronation of the king. We giants only worship strength and oaths. Although you are powerful enough, we will not surrender until we personally experience your power. The blue ghost and the red ghost stood in the front, their eyes full of determination. The port of the giant kingdom. The Golden City's super battleship finally arrived. Tizolo stood on the top floor of the building with a dark face. When did the Kowloon Kingdom have a super land that looked like a red earth continent? Did we go the wrong way? Holding the permanent pointer in his hand, the Golden Emperor was puzzled. Chapter 88. Elbaf. Ye Feng faced the old and current giant pirates of the giant kingdom alone. There were also many giant warriors, holding spears, war spears, swords, and shields. They were ready for a desperate battle at any time. They had only one belief in their eyes, to defeat Ye Feng in front of them. Even if facing an unbeatable enemy, they had to live and die. The giants worship strength, but it is not blind strength. Only loyalty and oath, the absolute king's qualifications, can gain our support. You have seen it. The broken tree in the center of our land was once the origin of the brilliant civilization. Come, use your power as a king to defeat us. The blue ghost raised his sword and shield high and struck hard. This is the seal of the sea warrior. We can be defeated. No one on the sea is undefeated in his life. However, if you want to make the giants surrender, you must have a broader mind than us. Is your king's qualification strong enough? Are you ready to let the world overturn for you? The red ghost shook his beard and raised his sword high. The core of the giant kingdom. Like the kingdom of wisdom O'Hara. There is a big tree that symbolizes wisdom. There used to be another sacred tree, Adam. It is said that there were 4 big trees standing on the sea. They symbolize wisdom, life, strength, and imagination respectively. Now only Eve, which symbolizes life, still exists. Adam, the most tenacious treasure tree, which symbolizes strength, has been destroyed. Only its broken branches have become the best material for making sailboats. And the tree of wisdom turned into charcoal in O'Hara's demon-killing order. Imagination? That is a story that the world does not know at all. The broken section is on the final island, where Raftel is sleeping. The beautiful imagination that once took care of the hearts of the people has turned into countless devil fruits. The treasure tree Adam has been broken. But that is the glory of our giants. Because we have never surrendered to it. The giants cheered and strode towards Ye Feng. The adult giants are generally about 12 meters tall, so people like Demon Oz are called demons. They are proud of their own strength and put courage into it. Whitebeard suppressed the giants with strange strength. Kaido used experimental products to develop Barbarian Tyrant. Big Mom tried to ally with the giants, and Red Hair coexisted with them. The four emperors all have their own positions on the giants. Now, it is Ye Feng's era. The king of extreme evil will give the giants a new evaluation. Treasure Tree Atom? It's really spectacular. But when it comes to size alone, I've never lost. Ye Feng transformed himself. With the help of the expansion fruit and the strength fruit, he turned into a giant 120 meters tall. In comparison, the giants were just small people in his eyes. The island fruit. The land under Ye Feng's feet began to merge, and soon merged with the entire Elbaf. All the plants on the island were controlled by the Lianlian fruit. Wine fruit. Ye Feng picked up a pot of wine and drank it all. As he opened his mouth and spit out the wine mist, flames followed. Boom! The sea of fire spread, and the giants were in the flames. When they looked up again, an unimaginable monster appeared in front of them. He was a plant, a mountain, and a living supergiant. Ye Feng looked down at them. It's fun, this is what it feels like to be a big boss. Others form teams, but you come directly as a group. Then give it a try, maybe it will be more interesting. Ye Feng's eyes were full of teasing towards the giants. What an enemy! For a world overlord who has been invincible for 2 days and 2 nights. The giants in front of him are actually no different from other people. Just now, a sea of wine and fire killed a bunch of giant mercenaries in seconds. Trolls trample. Ye Feng raised one foot, as if the earth was pulled up by him. Boom! The earth broke apart and cracks appeared. The giants could not stand and staggered. He. You giants are still fun. The other races are too weak. Ye Feng had already discovered that the Sea Kings were not challenging at the moment. The giants were still interesting, with strong strength and endurance. They were only weak in speed. If they could awaken their domineering aura in battle after battle, their combat power would increase rapidly. What a pity! If we met in a vicious war, it might be more fun. Ye Feng felt a little regretful. He really couldn't be interested in such a small fight. The giants were defeated. Be prepared to be slaves. I just need to build a giant guard. Ye Feng saw the giants who couldn't stand. They didn't even have their swords to chop, but they were completely intimidated by Ye Feng. Want to know what a king is? Then start a dizzy spell. Swish! Ye Feng looked down from above. He released his domineering aura without any scruples. The purple-gold domineering aura was released after the super giant merged the island. It burst out with the power to smash the giant trees one by one. The swords, shields and shields in the hands of the giants were all shattered under the impact of the domineering aura. They looked at the smiling giant Ye Feng in disbelief. He. There is not even one person in this world who can touch my basic form. I sit alone on this throne. Can you feel the bone-chilling cold? As Ye Feng spoke, the cold air began to spread over the earth. Behind the 100-meter-tall giant, the Qinqin circle slowly turned, emitting a faint golden light. The Hun Tianling was entangled, like a blood-tempered silk. 2 hands in front, 6 hands in the back, each doing their own thing. When the light slowly scattered over the earth, the wind-fire wheel rotated in the opposite direction. The flames turned into cold air, and in just a moment, they froze all of Elbaf. Before that, no matter how strong the giant was, they could only be stunned by Ye Feng's domineering aura. Want to stop it with willpower and domineering aura? Not enough. Sure enough, the development of the fruit's ability is unlimited. Ye Feng put his hands together and made the Putu hand seal. Between heaven and earth, bursts of golden light spread like a halo. He subdued the demons with his own strength. Click! Click! The reporters around the island of Shampoo quickly pressed the shutter. This scene will surely become a new front-page headline. Too powerful. The giant kingdom is frozen. This is the real god in the world. The king of news, Morgans, danced with joy. He was not happy for Ye Feng, but just thought of the big news of tomorrow. And today was also explosive enough. That was the news that the Tianlong people offered the gold from the sky. Since the end of the evil war, this runaway world has become more and more fanatical. Disperse! Ye Feng thought, and the wind and fire wheels spun clockwise, releasing all the frozen giants. When their heartbeats recovered and they woke up from their shock, they looked at the man in front of them again, and felt terrified. The King of Evil. King Wei experienced the strongest power in the world firsthand. King of Giants. The red ghost was convinced and raised his fists to the sky. Outside the giant kingdom, the Golden Emperor was speechless after what happened just now. Fortunately, he did not listen to Doflamingo and surrender to Kaido. Otherwise, he would be dead now without even ashes left. He was convinced, completely convinced. He knelt on one knee, just like those giants. He offered his absolute loyalty to their king. The gold surrendered, and the giants defended. The Grand Line will be truly great. Chapter 89. It's a mess. Beckman drank a sip of wine in frustration. He had witnessed the surrender of the giants in the tavern, and he felt like crying but couldn't. How could a monster like Ye Feng be born? You think it's unreasonable, right? Rayleigh said with a sly smile while drinking. It has only been about 4 months since he appeared. In more than 100 days, he has done something that we have never done in our lifetime. Not to mention you, even if Roger is alive, it would be impossible. It is really unfortunate for Shanks to meet this guy, which makes him look pale. However, what this kid is doing is even more crazy. Rayleigh had nothing to do, so he told Beckman about the general layout of the Kowloon Kingdom, the Dragon Prison, and the world's #1 martial arts conference. Beckman was already dizzy after listening to it. So this is just a small dish now? Ye Feng is going to broadcast a martial arts conference live to the world. Thank you for the information, Senior. Beckman thanked him and was about to stand up when Rayleigh put a hand on his shoulder. Don't even think about it. Anyone who dares to stay here, don't even think about leaving. The giants have all become his people. You are the same, I can tell you. It means that the guy has made plans. Stay here and work hard for his food for the next month. Rayleigh patted Beckman's shoulder sympathetically. This kid is also pitiful. He was originally a good vice-chairman, domineering and powerful, with both swordsmanship and gun skills. But he met a monster like Ye Feng. He was directly placed under house arrest. We didn't plan to leave. Beckman sighed. Originally they didn't plan to leave, but now they can't leave at all. There is a fundamental difference between the two. What's more, staying here always feels that the world is getting more and more wrong. Ye Feng seemed to be emitting his own magnetic field while walking, which would destroy all the rules and finally turn into another shape. Beckman is really a person of character. He is tall, has a lot of peach blossoms, and is extremely reliable. He can be said to be a fusion of Zoro and Sanji's personality. If he hadn't met Red Hair, he should still be wandering around the world. The Golden City ship officially became part of the island ring. The people on the ship were terrified. After witnessing the battle just now, they had an instinctive fear of the Kowloon Kingdom. Why would Huang Jincheng come to such a place? What? The Golden Emperor actually surrendered to the King of Evil. I really admire this Lao Lu. It's fine if he comes, but we have to follow him. Shit, this is my first time leaving the New World, and the air on the Grand Line isn't suitable for me. Is there anyone who would like to report the unfortunate Golden Emperor together? There were complaints everywhere. However, Tizero was unmoved. He clearly understood what he was doing. The first time he saw the news about Ye Feng, he felt disgusted. He felt from the bottom of his heart that anyone who dared to provoke the celestial dragons would die in an ugly way and would not know whether to live or die. The second time he saw Ye Feng was during the live broadcast of the Extreme Evil War. He saw the celestial dragons being executed and the strong men being defeated one by one. He felt hatred and some expectations in his heart. The third time, the sudden beam of light destroyed everything, and the live broadcast came to an abrupt end. The whole world was celebrating the killing of Ye Feng, but Tizero was the only one who felt lost. He seemed to see a stronger self die. That was the way he imagined himself to be, hoping that he would be strong enough to protect Stacy. Until Ye Feng appeared in the Golden City again and announced to the world that the King of Extreme Evil was back. That sense of expectation made him find his original intention again. This time, he finally came to the kingdom of Kowloon. Celestial dragons, go to hell. It's really exciting. Disgusting, what about the empty throne? There is no longer a king in the world, and the world nobles, the Tianlong people, jointly established the World Conference. What about more than 20 kingdoms jointly deciding everything in the sea? Ridiculous. It's just that the more than 20 kingdoms of the World Conference use their power to oppress all living beings. And the Tianlong people have become the gods above everyone, including the nobles and the royal family. Kneeling is fine. But you have to kneel to a group of people. Why? The Golden Emperor was wearing a pink suit, holding a golden scepter, and kneeling on one knee. He slowly raised his head. A figure that returned to a normal height of 3 meters appeared in front of him. The man turned into a head, without his feet on the wind and fire wheels. Instead, he sat on a blooming, floating lotus. Yes. That's the feeling. Undisguised ambition to dominate the world. Not like the Tianlong people who are both in power and independent. Have strength and courage. As a strong man, even if you surrender, it should be a man like this, not a group of pigs. Tizero, you came at the right time. Meet my king. Tizero was signaled to stand up. When he looked at Ye Feng, he suddenly realized that the man in front of him was like a wise man. What's going on? Everyone knows that Ye Feng is neurotic, but why does he feel like a wise man now? Are you calling me a psycho in your heart? Ye Feng propped up his cheek with one hand and scratched his ear with the other. Everyone in the world thinks so. Tizero did not lie. There are some strong people in the sea whose observation haki has been developed to the point where they can listen to the voice of the heart. Since Ye Feng can do it, there is no need to hide it. He. You are really honest. Gold is the real equivalent. In the future, we will mint gold coins, silver coins, and make brand new Kowloon Baileys with paper. Let's call it New Bailey. Ye Feng thought it was great. If playing games is about cultivating farming, then it would be best to create your own currency system. Replace the current Baileys with new Baileys. That would be fun. King, what pattern should be printed on it? Tizero even fantasized that he could become the new 5 elders one day. This, and this. Ye Feng pointed at the Qinkan circle, Hun Tianling and the like. As you command. Golden Emperor Tizero thought of becoming the new 5 elders. Doflamingo was appointed as one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Can't help laughing. Do your job well. There will be no more 5 elders. I will create the Senate. Ye Feng rode on the lotus and floated away. It was leisurely to have a group of people to serve Ye Feng. What's the point of raising new 5 elders? Give them huge power and wait for them to stab you in the back one day? Senate. The Golden Emperor didn't understand, let alone understand. He only knew that one day he would have the opportunity to join. A lotus flower floated away. Soon after, the sky was bright. A newspaper floated to the whole world. The celestial dragons presented the gold from heaven, and the 4 emperors offered their surrender. What exactly caused the mysterious noise in the new world? Stay tuned for the next episode to find out. The Life of the King of Evil, an exclusive revelation of Ye Feng's youth. On an island in Shampoo. The hot air balloon no longer has to drift around. Morgans is writing quickly in the newspaper office. Great, tomorrow we can report that Ye Feng has become a god and saved the giant kingdom. He thought about it, scratched his face with his feathers, and muttered to himself. It has been 3 days since the end of the evil war, so there shouldn't be any more major incidents. Chapter 90. Fishman Island, Tontata Kingdom, Giant Kingdom, Zhou Kingdom, Golden City. The 10,000 Nations Island is close to perfection. After the giants surrendered, the Fur tribe stepped down from the back of the Elephant Lord. It's not that they don't understand, it's that the world has changed too fast. Ever since the Elephant Lord flew into the sky, the Fur tribe almost thought it was the end of the world. Witnessed Ye Feng's battle on the back of the Elephant Lord. They were all scared. Cat Viper and Duke Inuarashi had to personally bring people to Kowloon Island to meet Ye Feng. Otherwise, it would be hard to explain what the point of staying here was. Who would have thought that they were stopped by the Seraph just halfway through? An old acquaintance walked out of the corner. Pluto Rayleigh. They were once interns in Roger's pirate group, and they also sailed on the sea on Roger's ship for a while. In a sense, Rayleigh is their deputy captain. Senior Rayleigh, long time no see. Cat Viper was unusually happy. Ever since he and Duke Inuarashi returned to the Kingdom of Zhou, they had many conflicts due to various things in the past, especially in Wano country. In the end, they changed day and night and never met again. If they hadn't encountered the powerful enemy Ye Feng, they would never have attacked together now. At dawn, Cat Viper was sleepy, and Duke Inuarashi had just gotten up. After meeting Rayleigh, the whole person became energetic. Don't go any further, the one who chooses to surrender is the Lord of the Elephants. Lily just persuaded Beckman not to do stupid things, and went out to persuade Cat Viper. I have to say, if it weren't for Hancock, this Empress who is almost her daughter, how could she run so fast? What's more, Ye Feng didn't give him overtime pay at all. Senior Rayleigh, the Kingdom of Zhou has always been on good terms with the Kojaki clan. We have made a covenant to help each other, and it has not changed in the past few hundred years. Even if the Kowloon Kingdom is powerful now, it cannot shake our oath. Cat Viper walked forward, and Duke Inuarashi blocked him with a sword. You won't listen to Senior Rayleigh's explanation? That's too rude. Inuarashi, the most important thing right now is not to cause trouble for Senior Rayleigh. Cat Viper glared at him. Do you think that we are still upholding morality by dragging Senior Rayleigh into this? The two were used to quarreling when they met. Rayleigh shook his head helplessly. There was no point in doing anything. Because he came. A lotus floated leisurely. Ye Feng stretched and looked at the Cat Viper in front of him very comfortably. Duke Inuarashi. Wano country? Isn't that Kaido's territory? After the martial arts tournament is over, it would be nice to include Kowloon Island. The lotus gave off a faint pink light. The two who were originally anxious and irritable lost their temper when they saw Ye Feng. How do you intend to deal with our fur tribe? Are you planning to make us slaves? The two men held their weapons and prepared for a fight to the death. The fur tribe could lose, but they could not become slaves. How come you are the same as the giants? Ye Feng had just dealt with the giants and was not interested in the fur tribe. Your Excellency. Cat Viper had something else to say. Ye Feng waved his hand. 12 seraphim rushed forward. After 30 minutes, the fur tribe will either surrender or become slaves. What agreement with the Kojaki clan? I think you think I am kind. I told you not to be too kind, but now anyone can be a hero. Ye Feng floated up slowly, heading towards the newspaper office. Anyone? Just as Cat Viper and Duke Inuarashi were about to attack, Seraphim attacked with all his strength. Rayleigh couldn't bear to see this scene, so he turned his head away. In less than 5 minutes, all the pirates, musketeers, and swordsmen they brought were defeated on the ground. What is the difference between Seraphim and the original owner except that he has no domineering power? Cat Viper fell to the ground, and one by one, the pacifists came out from the corner. Their bodies are very strange. Even the original owner needs domineering power to make up for the difference in bloodline. Duke Inuarashi tried to stand up. The 12 seraphim surrounded them. Hundreds of pacifists were walking step by step towards the direction of the Kingdom of Zhou. These war weapons were originally spoils of war in the most vicious war. After repair, they became weapons under Ye Feng. Used in conjunction with the seraphim, they are enough to suppress any forces below the 4 emperors and the generals. What are you going to do? Cat Viper raised his head angrily. What he saw was not the cold machinery, but the murderous intent of Ye Feng's men. The fur tribe has not expressed its intention to surrender. According to my king's will, the country should be destroyed. The Seraph Queen said this in a tone as cold as -60 degrees. Duke Inuarashi and Cat Viper looked at each other. Stop! We surrender. The fur tribe will be used as slaves to atone for their sins from today and enter the mining area. They will not be free until their sins are atonement. Seraphim Hawkeye said. The pacifist put the sea stone explosive shackles on them one by one. It can be said that Ye Feng will never lack mining. Previously there were pirates and marines, and now they have just escaped and joined the factory. Ye Feng found new replacements, the giants and the fur tribe. Who made them so unruly and chose to take action? That just makes up for the lack of manpower. I don't know who will be the next batch to replace the giants and the fur tribe. Old dog, do you think the Kojaki clan will really come across time and space? Cat Viper turned around, exhausted. Yes, that day Kaido will be finished, the most evil. Inuarashi was about to say something, but after thinking about it, he felt it was impossible. Even if Kaido was defeated, could Ye Feng be defeated? What they didn't know was that the Kojaki clan would soon come to this time and space. But by then, let alone Kaido, the beast. Even the capital of Wano country, the capital, like Mary Gosa, was part of Kowloon Island. The rest of the island was also split into different parts of the Kowloon Kingdom. To be precise, the Kowloon Kingdom no longer existed in the world at that time. Newspaper office. Morgans is writing furiously. Ye Feng floats silently on the lotus. Ah! Morgans was so scared that he almost fell backwards. Your Majesty, what are your orders? Morgans turned around and danced with joy. He knew that Ye Feng came here to do something. All the things he did were very ruthless. That meant there would be big news. I'm here to ask you to publish some news. No problem, I'll write it myself. Morgans pricked up his ears and listened. First, the Kowloon Kingdom will no longer exist. What the hell? Morgans felt his hair stand on end and goosebumps all over his body. Everyone else in the office was frozen in place. There are enough territories, so the name of a kingdom is just a small part of the country. You mean to change it to the Kowloon Empire? Morgans thought, it seems to be a false alarm. There are also some extremely powerful kingdoms in the New World. They have vast territories and strong strength, so they call themselves empires. No. It's dynasty. Dynasty? Morgans was stunned. It was the first time he heard this title. There can be countless kingdoms and multiple empires. But there can only be one dynasty. All forces are under the Kowloon dynasty. Ye Feng said as he stretched out his hand, used the teleportation fruit to take the breakfast from the newspaper office. He ate and said. The second thing is to abolish the celestial dragons, the 5 elders, the world army, the navy, and all other evil forces. The third thing is that from now on, all people or forces that are hostile to the Kowloon dynasty will be rewarded. We will open the profession of bounty hunter to replace pirate hunters and navy hunters. The fourth thing is that we will start the first martial arts competition in the sea, broadcast live to the world, and start rewarding throughout the whole process. The fifth thing is that your breakfast is delicious. Ye Feng stopped talking. He ate all the breakfast of the newspaper office today in no time. With the teleportation, he went to the dragon prison. In the newspaper office, only Morgans was still brainstorming. The world has completely changed, and the era of the celestial dragons will come to an end. Breakfast? Morgans reacted and muttered to himself, what breakfast? President, we have finished our breakfast. Nanny. Chapter 91. Ye Feng walked around. Confirmed that all the live broadcast Den Mushi were fine. Back to Kowloon Island. Standing on the top of Phoenix Prison. From the resentful eyes, there were also strong men who surrendered actively or passively. Black Maria and Runty from the Beasts Pirates. Smoothie and Pudding from the Big Mom Pirates. They all stayed after offering food and resources. In addition, there is also Bonnie, the glutton who can manipulate objects and the length of life at will. Robin, the devil child of the Straw Hat Pirates, and Nami, the little thief cat. Mamoto Sajai, the candidate admiral who stood out through the world conscription. There aren't many people. It seems that the first martial arts conference will be held in Dragon Prison. There is also a Tianlong woman in the corner, named Gong something. Ye Feng has long forgotten her name. Maybe her strength is too weak, and now she is not like a human being. Lord Ye Feng. I have been trying to teach these ignorant guys a lesson. I have been conducting devilish training every day. When the Empress saw Ye Feng, she came to report immediately. Hancock, you did a great job. I believe the first martial arts competition will be over soon. By then, it will be lively here. Your domineering, physical skills, and fruit development cannot be left behind. The sea is cruel and ruthless, and strength is the standard for survival. You don't want to lose to them. After all, the first winner will have a generous reward. The lotus on which Ye Feng was sitting cross-legged shook. The whole person floated away like a leaf. After a while, he appeared in the palace. There are dozens of people here who are responsible for Ye Feng's daily life. The head maid is naturally the empress who supervises Feng. Outside the palace, the empress's two sisters are stationed, and there are also people from the Lily Kingdom who are responsible for guarding. I haven't had a rest for a long time. It's not easy to watch a live broadcast in the sea. I have to find a way to earn the gold Baileys from live broadcast rewards. Ye Feng grumbled for a few words, and fell asleep peacefully without knowing it. Once he fell asleep, his whole body was wrapped in petals. The light was holy, blocking all perceptions and dangers. Near dusk, the Empress returned to the palace and stared at Ye Feng, who had just fallen asleep while lying on her side. You have to be strong enough, otherwise you are not qualified to share a room with the king. The sky gradually brightened. Wano country in the New World was more depressing than before. Everyone sitting here was a monster among monsters. The Emperor of the Sea, the legendary pirate, the forgotten villain who escaped from the 6th floor of Impel Down. Among them, 4 seats were the most dazzling. Red-haired Shanks, Kaido, Big Momo, Barrett. In the battle last night, Barrett has proved with his strength that he is the strongest person besides us. Now, who else is dissatisfied? Kaido picked up the wine pot and drank it all. He looked at the 3 calamities and the flying trio. No one dared to stand up in a real fight. It can be seen that after they personally experienced Barrett's fist, they finally understood the gap between the 3 calamities and the 3 generals and the 4 emperors. What is this? Are the Rocks pirates and the Roger pirates each the new 4 emperors? I've had enough. When are you going to attack Ye Feng? Big Mom was a little unhappy. Ever since the 2 days of offering food to Ye Feng, Red Hair stopped the 2 of them halfway. They are indeed warlike, but they are not fools. Whitebeard, Sengoku, Garp, Kizaru, Fujitora, Green Bull, all the big masters can't beat Ye Feng. If they go, they will be looking for death. If they really don't want to live, they would have challenged the Navy headquarters alone like Golden Lion. For this reason, a new pirate alliance was established. The 3 disasters of the Beasts pirates, the 3 generals of the Bankoku pirates, plus Shintachi and the minister. They. Sweet fruit ability user under his command, homies. There are also many cotters and barbarian tyrants. A new pirate alliance was established, and Red Hair joined alone. The difference is that a group of pirates who escaped from the Impel Downs landed on the Wanzi country. Barrett, Shiryu of the Rain, the Drunkard, San Juan, the King of Evil Government and a group of monsters from Impel Down all landed on the island. Who would have thought that it would be this group of people who would form a temporary alliance? On the contrary, Crocodile and Buggy the Clown did not follow Barrett. They are not beings that can be oppressed by strength. Naturally, they chose to leave like the World Destroyer and the Red Earl. It is worth mentioning that among the strong men present, only Doflamingo was not there. The young master of the Don Quixote family went from being complacent to having nothing. After leaving the Golden City, he unexpectedly became the only person who did not go to Wano country. In fact, even if it is said the best, losing the Devil Fruit Factory means a fight to the death with Kaido. Instead of seeking death, it is better to run away. If I am not welcome here, I will find another place to stay. News. A pirate came running over with a stack of newspapers. He knelt before these tall and strong monsters, and even his heartbeat quickened. Governor Kaido, the King of Evil has big news again. Nani? What is that ignorant guy doing again? Kaido drunkenly took the newspaper. At the same time, newspapers began to be passed from hand to hand. The expressions of the new 4 emperors twisted at the same time. He established his own dynasty and abolished the celestial dragons. This was the first time Red Hair heard of the concept of dynasty, which directly replaced the empire and kingdom. It also replaced the existence of the World Conference. There is only one supreme being in the dynasty, and that is Feng, the king of extreme evil. He has never let me down, he really deserves to die. Big Mom tore the newspaper into pieces. What is live streaming and rewarding? Can someone explain it to me? No one dared to stop Big Mom's anger. Kaido was already in a rage at this time, and he turned into a blue dragon and released dragon breath everywhere. Tesoro, this idiot, actually surrendered to a clown. What kind of new Bailey is this? Rain Shiryu was very dissatisfied with the content of the newspaper. In his opinion, as long as the unprecedented pirate alliance took action, Feng would be wiped out. After all, the extreme evil war was exaggerated, but he had never seen it in Impel Down. It was all due to the various boasts of passersby, which sounded like farts. The first martial arts conference on Highwind Star. Barrett found the blind spot. He always felt that there was something outrageous in this sentence. But he couldn't understand it no matter how hard he thought. Holy light shines on the earth, and the king of evil becomes a god. Katakuri held the newspaper in his hand and swallowed his saliva. The closest time he was to Feng was outside the port of Shampudi in the kingdom of Kowloon. At that time, Feng did not show up at all. Now there are the Lord of the Elephants, the Kingdom of Giants, and the Golden City. It is even more impossible to see him. Feng, the god descended from heaven, saved the giants, and shone brightly. Jin's tribe was once called the God Clan, but later this title was replaced by the Celestial Dragons, and their tribe was also exterminated. Now when I see Feng in the photo, if nothing else, he really looks like a god. The live broadcast of the first martial arts conference is about to begin. Should we wait and see what happens? The red-haired man spoke, and everyone at the scene fell silent. We established the pirate alliance to target him. We must go to war. Kaido slammed the table, and a lot of eyes stared at him. Start the war. When the martial arts competition is over, our Emperor Alliance will set off. Big Mom screamed, and he felt so angry when he thought of Feng. Why did he have to rob food when there were so many other things to rob? From now on, it's either you die or I live. Chapter 92. New World. Different from the grand occasion of the Emperor's Alliance. On a remote island, several figures were looking at each other awkwardly. Everyone, you have to say something. After all, meeting again is full of coincidences. This is fate's arrangement. Bug-Hai the clown was flying in the air. He also met up with his original team as he wished. Who would have thought that after saying goodbye to Barrett and others on the original island, he encountered a storm on the sea again. When he landed on the island, he arrived at Moria's territory. Crocodile also came here after experiencing the storm. He was smoking a cigar with a gloomy face. It was not because of the chattering Bug-Hai. It was because there happened to be 2 old acquaintances negotiating on this island. Doflamingo, Moonlight Moria. Doflamingo, what are you talking about? You want me to cooperate with you? Dream on. Go find that idiot Kaido. Mariah's voice was sharp, not giving any face at all. Aren't you also a loser in the competition with Kaido? The Dark Kings in the underground can't wait to create a new order. The 4 Emperors Alliance, the Celestial Dragons, the King of Evil. This sea is already at the point where if they don't stick together for warmth, they will be defeated one by one. Don't you understand yet? Ming Ge said, and the Den Mushi in his hand was already gurgling. There was actually a cold voice on the other side of the Den Mushi. But its tone was very similar to Red Hair Shanks. Red Hair. Mariah was a little unhappy. Since being beaten by Feng, he has experienced many near-death experiences. Especially after being tempered by the extremely evil war, his ambition and strength have become more and more inflated. In this world where willpower determines the upper limit and limit of strength, Moonlight Moria has 30,000 zombie soldiers on the island, as well as his own powerful strength. He is fearless in the face of Doflamingo. Unconsciously, he is no longer timid when facing the four emperors. I'm not a pirate. The person on the Den Den Mushi side said seriously. The Emperor's alliance has been successfully established with the help of my brother. The next step is the critical moment for the construction of the Wuhei alliance. If we want to fight against such a monster, we must unite all the forces on the sea. Who the hell are you playing tricks on me? Mariah shouted in displeasure. Doflamingo, holding the Den Den Mushi, had a perverted smile. Crocodile and Buggy's expressions also changed. They were about to enter the most secret and evil meeting in the world. Once again, they would subvert the world, dominate history, and establish a new justice and evil. Me? The Knights of God. Saint Figalan. It's the one who protects the celestial dragons. Mariah's face was dark. He finally understood what was happening on the sea. The celestial dragons were uniting the whole world. Even the pirate alliance established by the four emperors was planned by them. Now, they will also unite with the former 7 warlords of the sea and more powerful people. Damn it, I was not kept in the dark, but it still makes me sick. Sand Crocodile had an uncomfortable expression on his face. That's the prefix of Shank's name. Bakey muttered to himself, saying only part of the man's name. But that's also the surname of Shank's family. New World, Grand Line, 4 Seas, Red Earth Continent. All the kingdoms in the World Conference, including Alabasta, Dressrosa, and the Drum Kingdom, received Den Den Mushi messages from the World Conference at the same time. Their kings were also reading the latest newspapers, with shocked expressions on their faces. The World Conference will not disband. I think it's time for a real war. Even those kingdoms that couldn't afford the heavenly gold received Den Den Mushi calls. Hey, if you win the war, you can be exempted from 10 years of Tianshangjian, and during this period you will be considered a member kingdom of the World Conference. Similar voices rang in the ears of nobles and royal families. Different people were speculating on different intentions. They would all witness a brand new history. After a few years, perhaps even everything today would be wiped out. Who would remember then? Red Earth Continent. The leader of the Knights of God put down the Den Den Mushi. He stretched and met with the 5 elders. Mars Saint, it's really strange. In such a holy palace. Why would an ant appear? Bang! He stepped on the ant to death, and raised his head again as if nothing had happened and laughed with the 5 elders. But he didn't know. Even if he looked down at the earth from the sky of Mary Gosa. When Ye Feng flew over their heads that day, even if all the Tianlong people joined forces, they couldn't beat this ant. It's overestimating one's own strength to try to stop a chariot with a mantis arm. But what the ant wants to shake is not the mammoth, but the real dragon in the sky, which occasionally shows a tail. In the Holy Land, the Tianlong people are furious, but they are also panicked. Are we no longer the world's aristocrats? He has no say, he's just a pirate going crazy. But will those bounty hunters attack us? The general will take action, not to mention the Knights of God. Are they useful? You are so naive. The collapse of Will is like a storm. Once it pours out, it will be irreversible. In the past, their ancestors also maintained the same powerful force. But history will not repeat itself. The balance of power has long been tilted, and even more numbers cannot make up for the gap between them. Compared to the figures standing on high places, people working in the alleys, working at the docks, walking in the desert, and farming in the fields are the biggest carriers of newspapers. When they witnessed the establishment of a dynasty with their own eyes, the nobility was abolished, but no one dared to publicly refute it. The gate knife in their hearts was already hanging in the air. They always felt that there seemed to be some power in their hearts gradually awakening, just waiting for Ye Feng to raise his arms. Compared to the kingdom, there are hundreds of royal families, and the nobles stand on top of their heads. Only one extremely evil king is above all living beings, which seems to be a better choice for them. Grand Line. This is now the center of the world. The Kowloon dynasty not only abolished the original nobles of the world. It also replaced the world army and navy, and swore an oath to the sins of the world. Whether they admit it or not, there is no chance to refute. Dragon Prison Island Ring. In a huge cage. One by one, the people who woke up and recovered looked up at the man in the audience. Then, the den mushi in every corner lit up. On the huge screen, the faces of the navy and pirates appeared. Ye Feng put his hands on the chair and smiled at the camera. Everyone, now is the greeting before the live broadcast. Here, I will announce to everyone present. The first martial arts tournament will begin here. The winner will be rewarded with a one-day trip to the old place. In addition, a special title, Dragon Prison King. On par with the Pirate King, the Navy King, and the King of the World. The next is an extremely evil era with 4 kings on par. Chapter 93. Live broadcast, start. Swish. The people in front of the camera did not hide their anger, resentment, expectation, longing, hatred, and fighting spirit. At the same time, the major forces and kingdoms that were originally under pressure from the new instructions of the celestial dragons all connected to the live broadcast of the video den mushi at the same time. In front of the giant screen, Morgan's men from the newspaper were holding a small word reading and conversion machine in their hands, ready to input subtitles at any time. Are they from Morgan's newspaper? What are they doing there? People were confused. After all, this live broadcast was different from the extremely evil war. It was completely the first martial arts conference proposed by Ye Feng. They had never heard of it before and had no idea what they were going to do. Everyone, keep your voice down and listen to our boss. The staff of the newspaper were very happy. When they thought about making a lot of money, they couldn't help but feel happy. When they heard the boss, they instinctively shut up. It wasn't until they calmed down that they realized that he was referring to Morgan's. Since it wasn't Ye Feng, they should relax a little and don't suffocate themselves to death. Everyone, everyone. Morgan's wings held the microphone and announced to the world. On the other side stood the Golden Emperor Tizero in a suit and tie. He also held a microphone. This live broadcast was held by the Great King of Evil. It is called the #1 Martial Arts Conference. What needs to be done is to select the strongest person in Dragon Prison. It adopts a one-on-one matching mode. The final winner will receive a generous reward. Become the first Dragon Prison King. Dragon Prison King. Martial Arts Conference. In just a few words, the audience has already had a preliminary concept in their minds. It is to watch these legendary strong men fight. Compared with the tension of the extreme evil war to attack Ye Feng, the first martial arts conference is more of a stress relief. After Morgan's finished speaking, he couldn't wait to announce the next thing. Unexpectedly, the first person to come forward was actually Tizero. Now let me introduce the 3 features of our first martial arts tournament. First, you can bet throughout the whole process and participate in the victory or defeat. We only charge a very small handling fee. Second, you can turn on the barrage function. You can spend a certain amount of Baileys and we will manually input what you want to say. Third, the live broadcast reward function, we will count all the rewarders of the first martial arts tournament in real time. Choose the strong man you like. The more rewards you give, the more honorable titles you can get. If you love him, protect him with gold and Bailey. Nanny. The Golden Emperor finished explaining the basic rules of the first martial arts tournament. Whether it was the people watching the live broadcast or the people in the dragon prison, they were all indignant. Ye Feng, you have done so many bad things. I thought it was free, but I didn't expect I had to pay a reward. I have never given a reward, but giving a reward is impossible. I will never give a reward in this life. Actually, I want to support Luffy. By the way, are the Whitebeard pirates still alive? They have protected our village for a long time. Just when people were still confused, the first bullet comment was born. Come on Luffy. I am your eternal partner, _ His. A comment was floating across the live broadcast screens around the world. Who is it? He actually spent 100,000 Baileys. He stayed for 1 minute at the end. He only said one confusing sentence. Moreover, Bailey comments are not rewards and will not generate rankings. Therefore, the identity of this person has become a mystery. Alabasta. Vivi wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes and cried with joy. She saw the Straw Hat Pirates in the camera. They are still alive. Princess Wei, this is not a good idea. If someone with bad intentions knows about this. The minister stood in front of Wei in a panic. King Cobra smiled and nodded. At the same time, the Straw Hat Pirates in Dragon Prison and Phoenix Prison all noticed this scene. It's Wei. He silently recited his partner's name in his heart, and his fists were clenched more firmly. Luffy took a step forward. It's time to test the training during this period. The full development of Haki and the rubber fruit will shock the world. After being beaten by Ye Feng, he witnessed the scenes of the most vicious wars and experienced defeat and loss. Brothers and grandfathers became prisoners one after another. But how can we stop here? One Piece, it's okay. The loud shout was a response to all the partners. People watching the live broadcast had no idea what was going on. Isn't that the Dragon Prison King? He must be a random intruder. Who is this guy? Supernova? That's all old news. Gurgle, gurgle. The sound of the phone charging started again. Morgans grabbed the microphone. Just now, the King of Evil gave special instructions. He would like to thank the sponsors of food and resources for the first martial arts tournament. They are the Red Hair Pirates, the 100 Beasts Pirates, and the 10,000 Beasts Pirates. Thanks to their support, the King of Evil said that he would eat it all. He would never waste food. He is also announcing to the world here. Let's cherish food, starting with you and me. This is a public service advertisement, and no Bailey will be charged. What is this all about? Why would the 4 emperors sponsor the martial arts tournament, and what is a public service advertisement? I was stunned. The whole world felt that its information was stagnant, and its brain could not keep up with the speed of change in the world. Onigashima. Marijoa. Moonlight Island. Whether it was Kaido, or Doflamingo. There were black lines on their foreheads. They originally thought that the martial arts tournament was Ye Feng's declaration to the world of his power and terror. And to completely conquer the world and enslave the people. At that time, the alliances controlled by the celestial dragons will rise up and repeat the history of 900 years ago. Who would have thought that it could be so outrageous? It seems that we thought Ye Feng's mental state was too stable. Red-haired Shanks gritted his teeth and said, "Do we need to pay Bailey if we scold him?" Big Mom looked reluctant. The newspaper staff in front of him looked timid. This can only work if Bailey is dropped. If you destroy it by force, you won't be able to post comments. The people in the Ghost Island Hall were hesitant to speak. Damn it! It's really a rip-off. White Earth Island. Long was having a meeting with Sabo, Ivankov, the 4 army commanders, and the vice-captain. He watched the live broadcast with the most serious expression. When he saw this scene, Long crushed the table with one hand. The original intention was to judge whether someone was an enemy or a friend, but what is the result? Sorry, Mr. Long. It seems that we made a mistake in our previous judgment. We completely overestimated Mr. Ye Feng's mental stability. Sabo was depressed. He didn't understand what was going on in this world. Mary Joa. Yim watched the live broadcast alone, and naturally there was no staff here. In fact, the Tianlong people refused to allow the newspaper people to set foot on the Red Earth continent. Therefore, they are also typical representatives of those who dare not speak out. Live broadcast. Rewards. Barrage. Ah. Do you want me to be a governor or a captain? Was going crazy. He raised his jade-like hand. But it finally fell down exhaustedly. Forget it. When there is no way to make up for it, just destroy the world. Chapter 94. Dear audience. The first scene that everyone is looking forward to is about to begin. This time, the preliminary round will be a random draw of opponents. If you meet an admiral, then the Shishibukai will have to consider yourself unlucky. Then, please look at the big screen. Morgans waved his wings, and the avatars on the camera quickly changed. Until the final moment, everyone had a matching opponent. Congratulations to all of you. After the preliminary round, you will receive generous rewards. The food provided by Laozi shampoo and the fine wine of the Giant Kingdom. I believe that you have been in Dragon Prison for so long, you have already had enough, don't take it lightly. The Golden Emperor quickly took over the conversation. Morgan's men are responsible for Bailey's barrage, and Tezaro's people are responsible for the reward ranking. If you don't get more shots for yourself, how can you make a lot of money? With so many people in the world, even if the viewing rate is 1%, and there is another 1% reward rate here, it is enough to offset the income of the Golden City for the whole year last year. The qualitative change caused by quantitative change is quite terrifying. If you are not careful, it will bring extremely terrible effects. Moreover, there are many wealthy leaders in the sea who cannot compete with these dragon prison strongmen on weekdays. They are all eager to fight. As long as they understand the rules, they will definitely find ways to make themselves happy. Only Ye Feng is sitting in the VIP seat to watch the game. No matter how much profit is generated, it will return to the Kowloon dynasty. For the king of extreme evil, having fun is the most important thing. Ye Feng is a typical fun person. Are you ready? The battle will begin until the opponent admits defeat or is defeated. Morgans and Tezaro said in unison. So far, the first global entertainment live broadcast in history has begun. Later history books have identified it as the beginning of the world's #1 martial arts competition. It also means that mankind has officially entered an era of universal strength. Dragon Prison Arena. A group of unruly guys walked onto the stage, their eyes filled with impatience. There was also a small number of people who didn't even need to stand up. They just sat in their seats. The opponent directly announced his surrender. Are you kidding me? You want me to fight an admiral? Why would a marine randomly pick a marine? I give up. That's Kuma, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. His head was smoking. It was so scary. Supernovas? They are just a bunch of rookie pirates. I will beat them to a pulp. Different people will make different choices. Garp, Sengoku, Sakazuki, Kizaru, Aokiji, Green Bull, Fujitora, and Chiton didn't even make a move before the enemies surrendered. Hawkeye, Kuma, Jinbe, Ace, and Marco didn't even get a chance to make a move. The monsters whose reputations resounded throughout the sea didn't even need to make a move here. In the end, the ones who were provoked were the remnants of the Golden Lion pirates, the remnants of the Blackbeard pirates, the supernovas of this year, and the elite vice admirals. The only one whose strength was questionable was White 2. Mom is not here, what should I do, who should I fight? By air she looked at his opponent, who was the elite Lieutenant General Ghost Spider. Are you such a person? After losing the old woman Ba Jin, even the ability to judge on your own disappeared without a trace. The Ghost Spider's life returned to the hair and gave it vitality. Each of them held a long sword like a palm. His eyes were fierce and he stared at Bai Ershi. You are from the Navy. White Second raised his long sword stupidly, his eyes wandering. He had no idea of the current situation. He only knew that an unprecedented war had taken place, and then he met the equally powerful Seraph White Second. Not long after, he was affected by the various attacks of the Admiral and was hit by various critical hits by Ye Feng. When he woke up, the Whitebeard pirates didn't want him. Otherwise, the Angel King Whitebeard who guarded the dragon prison would not recognize this clone son. He belonged to a camp alone, and even the identity of the 7 warlords of the sea was not recognized. After all, even the navy was in prison like the pirates, so how could there be any balance of power? Swoosh! The 6 swords of Ghost Spider slashed at the same time, and the sword light and sword shadow were so fierce. But the next moment, White Second slowly turned around. His strong physique and strength made him completely unscathed. The combination of domineering and swordsmanship can indeed burst out powerful power. Of course, the premise is that the basic values of both sides are the same. White Second is not a little bit stronger than Ghost Spider. The previous attack didn't even break the defense. Why did you attack me, damn it? By air she slashed back with a knife, fast and fierce, directly slashing a scar on his back. Ghost Spider vomited blood on the spot. His domineering and strength just now were really a monster among monsters. I really can't understand why a fool can awaken Haki. When he was wondering, Bai Er couldn't help but hit him on the head. The big knife was about to fall. Ghost Spider quickly counterattacked, wrapping haki around the blade, but the result was that the sword was completely cut off. Puff! The elite lieutenant general was defeated under such an attack. You should know that Ghost Spider's strength is also a leader among the lieutenant generals. You are so weak. White Second looked disdainful. As one of the 7 warlords of the sea, he still had the strength of Whitebeard when he was young. If it weren't for his lack of brains, he would have the potential to go further. The absolute strength of White 2 versus the resourceful and changeable Spider Demon, the final winner is still strength. Morgans announced the final winner to the audience. Spider Demon's defeat was too unexpected. After all, White 2 became the new Shishibukai, and he was selected for Ye Feng before the Evil War. Just like the Advance World conscription, digging out Fujitora and Green Bull. The latter's reputation as an admiral makes the enemy instinctively fearful, because the 3 admirals have long been famous on the sea. This makes the world's fear of the admirals deeply rooted. On the contrary, the 7 warlords of the sea are different. They are powerful, but there are always some surprises. Especially in the eyes of the strong, the 7 warlords of the sea almost all have their own obvious shortcomings. Except for Hawkeye, who is a lone man, they can be defeated one by one. Therefore, when White 2 made his first move, he did not give the world a sense of expectation, but just felt that his reputation was not good enough. It's just bluffing. It wasn't until Enigmo was defeated that people suddenly realized. No matter how little known the 7 warlords of the sea are, they are still great pirates on the sea. They can't be fooled by just an elite vice admiral. After all, there are only 2 substitute admirals. Ye Feng simply turned the lotus into a soft sofa. He sat on it and dusted off. He set up a charcoal copper pot on another lotus. He cooked mutton and beef. It was steaming hot, and everyone present wanted to skin him alive. Off stage. As the first person to make a move and win, White 2 stared blankly at a large portion of hot pot being served, which contained the freshest slices of sea kings. The aroma was fragrant. White Eye's stomach growled. Just when everyone was still confused, Tesoro spoke first. Brand new Sea King hot pot. A brand new way to eat food beyond your imagination. Stores have begun to open in major kingdoms. The latest feature is fresh slices of sea kings raised by the mermaid princess herself. Let your life be spicy and hot. Hot pot? I don't understand, but the aroma is real. Chapter 95. At the same time, the loser looked at the pots of delicious food being served to the winner's table with reluctance. I'm really hungry. Zhangguo, let's see who finishes first. Kappa picked up the chopsticks and saw a dipping sauce, and started eating on the spot. This is the enemy's food, how can I eat it, and I'm kidding you. Zhangguo refused on the spot, and his mouth water still flowed out. People should live in the present. If you don't have the strength, you will die before you defeat that guy. After hearing Garp's words, Sengoku, whose hair turned white overnight after the extremely vicious war, raised his chopsticks unwillingly. It's a waste if you don't eat it. Do you still have to cherish the enemy's food? It tastes really good. Zhangguo gave it a high rating. Damn it, what is he doing? Is he making fun of us? Akinu folded his arms and sat there without eating. Sakazuki, there is still oolong tea, do you want some? Oolong tea. Yellow Monkey was not in a hurry to eat, but drank the tea leisurely. We should always stay calm, as we will have to fight the enemy sooner or later, but before that, we can't lose our composure first. Fujitora ate heartily. Not bad, we can even cook soba noodles here. I will never eat. Why are there no beauties in Dragon Prison? Green Bull is wearing sunglasses, relying purely on photosynthesis. It is not easy to absorb nutrients from others. There are sea stones everywhere, and the fruit ability will be greatly reduced. In such a cold place, there is such heartwarming food, it's really good. Aokiji ate slowly, not taking the battle seriously at all. If someone dared to provoke him, he would show everyone what a Navy admiral is. After all, he is now in a giant cage of sea stone, but he is not shackled. Even if the fruit ability is weak, as a leader of the natural system, he still has an absolute advantage. As for the way the admirals eat, the pirates are the same. Even because of their status, they have no psychological burden when eating. It tastes very good. Compared with the small pot of sukiyaki, the aroma of Odin, this spicy taste is simply exciting. But can the fish meat be replaced? Jinbei was sweating all over. Luffy, don't just stand there, call your friends to come and eat. Ace also sat cross-legged on the ground, eating until his cheeks were bulging. I never thought that my dad would be back to his peak, but Ye Feng's whereabouts have become even more bizarre. Marco was eating shabu-shabu, mumbling something in his mouth. No one has challenged me. It seems that I am quite famous. Josie was sweating. He liked this special cooking method very much. In the corner, Hawkeye stared at the hot pot in front of him. He silently picked up a small bowl and ate a little. After all, it was served with red wine. What? You can get this kind of food if you win. Kid was very angry, and his stomach was rumbling with hunger. Ace, my friends, and I will win. But it tastes really good. Luffy couldn't stop drooling. Hey, can I go eat something first, Luffy? Usopp was helpless. He was somewhat embarrassed to challenge a navy captain. Without the shackles, I finally turned into a human, but I'm still a little weak. I hope the Rambo pills will work. Chopper said tiredly. Spicy soup base? A simple and direct cooking method, but the key point should be the dipping sauce. Sanji was analyzing the food. At this time, the only winner who did not eat. The bear was smoking all over his body, his consciousness was getting less and less. He had no interest in food at all. Give, Bo. And I. He said a name and turned off the phone before he did anything. Take it to restart, it seems that I have to find Vegapunk again. Ye Feng was speechless. How could there be such a contestant who withdrew from the competition? It was a bad start for the first martial arts conference. Soon, the hot pot was moved to Fenjiu. Bonnie laughed happily. It tastes really good. She raised her hand and found that everyone was looking at her. Doubtu, Smoothie, Robin, Runty, Nami. Damn it, how can we share delicious food? Bonnie panicked, she is a glutton. Dragon Prison. Based on food and dignity. The real battle has just begun. Haki, is this the kind of power? Roronoa stepped forward, and there was a hint of haki entwined on the blade of his three-sword style. Since his defeat, he had spent every day fighting against the strong. When he learned that haki was an indispensable power to go to the new world, he did not relax for a moment. Food, dignity, strength, companions, freedom. We have lost so much since that battle. But if we stop here, we will be the real weaklings. From now on, no one can stop me. Hey, it's a bragging swordsman. I heard he's a supernova. He. The doctor of the Golden Lion Pirates walked forward happily. He was dressed in a clown costume and had a pair of shoes that made strange noises. Don't be careless, that kid's eyes are quite unruly. Angel King Golden Lion crossed his arms and shouted loudly. Got it, Captain. The clown stepped forward and quickly attacked. This is a critical strike from the old era of the New World in the past 20 years. Are you ready? Swish. A sword was unsheathed, and the sharp sword energy forcibly suppressed the enemy. It was like a green dragon flying out of the sea and rushing into the sky. Endless clouds and mists were startled between heaven and earth. The clown saw the three-sword swordsman who mastered the domineering power. The previous presumption also turned into a solemn. You have already lost. Zoro drew his sword again, making his first public move as a supernova. This was a perfect exclamation point for this battle. What a fierce sword energy! Fujitora ate noodles and gave very similar comments at different times and places. Is that guy so strong? As soon as Appa stepped onto the ring, he looked at Zoro with a smack of his mouth. On the other side, with the combination of Gear 3 and Haki, Straw Hat Luffy knocked the Vice Admiral of the headquarters away with one punch. Too slow. Luo moved his fingertips, and the power of Room cut through everything. Magnetism controls all weapons. Kid opened his arms. He was a true pirate and had never shown kindness to ordinary people. Every time he attacked, he would destroy the enemy. The huge steel arm turned into a magnetic storm. With just a few turns, he completely defeated the enemy. Your fist is very powerful, now I will return it to you in full force. The strange monk Ulki blasted back all the power of the champion badgers. Damn, how can a supernova be so strong? Badgers fell to the ground, still full of doubts in his heart. You seem to look down on the new era. Hawkins's scarecrows fell one after another, and Death Poison Q never dreamed that he would meet such an opponent. Supernova showed his edge. The world watched the live broadcast. I don't know who it was, but he was full of heroic spirit. A huge ship passed by the screen. The first person to publicly reward has appeared. Chapter 96. Who swiped the giant wheel? People immediately wondered in their hearts, all staring at the screen. Is there really a fool who would give Bailey to Feng? Bailey is what that guy lacks the most right now. Damn it! Envy made people blush and their hearts panic. Next to the huge screen, the original black frame suddenly opened a new interface. That thing is not the screen frame, it is deliberately not displayed. What an idiot! Damn, Morgan's was already prepared, what a rip-off. I mean, is there a possibility that the person in charge of giving rewards is the Golden Emperor? Is it important? I just want to find a reason to be a troll. The live broadcast site is even more focused. With the end of the battle between the supernovas, the pirate groups they belong to have also won and lost. Even the captain of the Whitebeard pirates encountered a difficult existence, and the result was that both sides suffered losses. Now, the extra screen just shows the first big tycoon who gave a reward. A ship worth millions of Baileys, who was he rewarding, and what was his identity? Everyone waited and watched, wanting to see this fool. His name was displayed. A ship worth millions of Baileys, and he immediately soared to the governor. The dazzling title appeared on the left of his name. And his real name and nickname also appeared at the same time. The evil king of the Black Iron Bucket Kingdom Wapole. Special reward for Luffy and Chopper of the Straw Hat Pirates. Message from the governor. You two have come to this day too? Ha 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 ha, you have come to this day too. Wapole? Who is such a rich and powerful person? People have thought about it but have no idea. After all, this person is not important at all. Ever since he was defeated by the Straw Hat Pirates on Winter Island, he has started a new business. Now he has used the swallow fruit to create a new Wapole alloy and established the evil Black Iron Bucket Kingdom. But before he officially entered the World Conference, he learned that the World Conference had been completely abolished. Because even if he joined, he would have no influence. The Navy couldn't even protect the Celestial Dragons. Not to mention other people. Wapole has always been worried about this matter, but he has never had the chance to take revenge. Now it's good. He got what he wanted and saw the miserable state of the Straw Hat Pirates. Although they have won temporarily, the anger in his heart has not diminished. He firmly believes that the Straw Hat Pirates will be beaten up and cleaned up by stronger people. He stomped his feet when he thought of this. What does that mean? Is he encouraging the Straw Hats? I never expected that this group of evil pirates would have so many people cheering for them. Maybe it's the mutual sympathy among bad guys. Didn't you see the words evil and black in front of the Iron Bucket Kingdom? That's true. Wapole is probably not a good guy either. Faced with the discussion of the world, Wapole didn't care at all. In his opinion, they were all a bunch of idiots. As a king who became a wealthy man by transforming fruits into technological products, those ordinary people were just making up the numbers for Wapole. Swish! Another warship flew by. This cost 100,000 Baileys, which was also a lot of Baileys. I didn't expect it to be Wapole's masterpiece. Tip message. Fools, it's none of your business what the king wants to do. Awesome. Even Feng gave him a thumbs up. He really knows how to do something tough. Swipe. Very quickly. There was no reward on the screen, but more than a dozen bullet comments passed by. Get out of the way, idiot. Or I'll take your head off. The comments were not based on real names. No one knew who posted it. But Wapole was furious. If you have the guts, just say your name, you bastard. Wapole shouted again, using it as a megaphone. Brushing 100,000 Baileys once. The barrage is much cheaper. Originally it was just a fight between two people, and soon the barrage broke out across the board. On behalf of the Drum Kingdom, I despise you, tyrant. I've known you since childhood, idiot. Baka. Can anyone tell me why such an idiot can become a king? Hundreds of comments flew by. It can be seen that Walpole knew a lot of people when he was young. Needless to say, there were countless people who hated him in Winter Island. Even Vivi from Alabasta had quarreled with him at the World Conference when they were young. Not to mention the others. A kingdom that was not recognized by the World Conference in time was a third-rate thing in the eyes of other kings. It was getting exciting. Ye Feng ate melons throughout the whole process and quickly launched a new business. Teasero in front of the screen advertised hard. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are launching the global grocery store service. We provide melon seeds, peanuts, mineral water, instant noodles, sashimi, barbecue, etc. Watch the live broadcast. There is no third party, Dragon Prison is selling on the spot, there is absolutely no price difference. This even includes food and drink. Seeing this scene, the bosses of Shampoo Land all lowered their heads in shame. It has to be Ye Feng. Doflamingo on the Moonlight Island was so angry that his veins were bulging. I don't buy melon seeds. The newspaper staff and the Golden City salesman in front of him shrank their shoulders helplessly. What on earth is he doing? Why didn't the Whitebeard pirates and the Navy's strongest forces take action? Just dragging us here, right? Where is Ye Feng? Why isn't he playing? I hate watching ads. They really give me a headache. The 7 warlords of the sea were arguing. When Crocodile was really having a headache, he turned around and saw Moria signing something. What are you doing? Nothing, nothing. Mariah hid the hot pot restaurant contract in his hand and handed it to Shadow. Tien Yasha and Sand Crocodile sighed at the same time. They were both good at Bailey. But why did they have the illusion that they were not as good as others? Only Buggy the Clown was floating in the air, and he admired Ye Feng very much. I say to you all, do you want to take a trip to Kowloon Island? It is the center of the world now. Don't you think that the situation is turbulent now and there are countless people who secretly want Ye Feng's head? Crocodile looked at Buggy as if he were a fool. Of course he knows, otherwise why do they have people on our island? Bakey felt that the other people were not smart enough. The staff were arranged to live broadcast for the 7 warlords of the sea. Do you think Ye Feng doesn't know? With the strongest power in the world, of course he also has the most perfect intelligence organization. What's more, the Golden Emperor and Morgans have joined him. It seems to be the case. Ming Ji was silent. He suddenly felt a little stupid. Why didn't he notice it before? I say, everyone, have you overlooked something? This is my island. Molia didn't understand. What does it have to do with them whether he wants to cooperate with Ye Feng or not? He was relieved after being beaten so many times, so what are they dissatisfied with? At this moment, the Sand Crocodile was silent, as if it was indeed the case. So, should we go for a walk? What if we are locked up? Just when everyone was accepting the perversion of this world. Walpole shouted again and openly rewarded a huge ship. Governor Walpole's reward message. Everyone here is trash. You don't even dare to show your dignity, so why pretend to be a big shot? If you dare to come to me, I will definitely not end well for you. Chapter 97. I'm so angry. Walpole was so crazy. As the world's richest man, he told the world with simple and vulgar rewards and hundreds of barrages. The Tianlong people are nothing. Just when the kings were so angry, a barrage flew past people's eyes. Will the celestial dragons watch the live broadcast? Why don't they give rewards, or do the celestial dragons really offer the heavenly gold to the king of extreme evil? This sentence directly detonated the whole audience. The celestial dragons who were watching the live broadcast vomited blood on the spot. Someone actually dared to discuss the gods of this world publicly. They are crazy, completely crazy. If it weren't for the fact that the barrage could not trace the person, the celestial dragons would have wanted to skin him alive. The barrage was quiet for a while. As time passed, People confirmed that there was no rebuttal from the celestial dragons, and nothing abnormal had occurred. The barrage quickly became fanatical. With Ye Feng's execution of the celestial dragons, the extreme evil war was won. The navy was defeated, and the celestial dragons, the four emperors offered the celestial dragons and resources. And control Morgans and T0. Control the world's news and discourse power. And gold, Bailey, and even be able to start live broadcasts and rewards around the world. Possess the strongest execution and power. It can be said that people are no longer afraid of the celestial dragons, and even recognize that this is Ye Feng's era. What's the point of joining the World Conference? If you don't join the Kowloon dynasty, you will eventually be just a small goldfish on the sea. Can we really discuss the celestial dragons? Ha 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 ha, I'll join in the fun too. Damn, this is so cool. I said that the celestial dragons are all trash, and no one would object, right? More and more barrages flew out after a moment of silence. More and more people have chosen to refute the former world nobles. And they have only one reason, that is Ye Feng's strength and the overall decline of the celestial dragons. The history books point out that the decline of the celestial dragons was due to Ye Feng's public announcement of the abolition of the world nobles and the collection of heavenly gold. So far, the world has changed from the superficial celestial dragons, the Elders' Council of the World Conference, to a highly centralized dynasty. The King of Extreme Evil became the first monarch of the Kowloon dynasty. His existence is considered to be an inevitable step for all races before Highwind Star enters the universe. It is the beginning of all mankind abandoning their past grudges and heading towards the Sea of Stars. Some people also believe that Ye Feng is bloodthirsty all his life, and he wipes out and suppresses his enemies all at once. He is considered to be a monarch with mixed reputations. But this historian's evaluation was completely overturned in later generations. Because of that day, Ye Feng returned. The above are all the history of Highwind Star hundreds of years later. At this time, Ye Feng was just a retired pirate who liked to entertain himself. The current monarch. New World. White Earth Island. Long was watching the live broadcast with Ivankov. The comment just now was posted by him. Unexpectedly, people's anger towards the celestial dragons and their resistance to them reached a certain level. Sob, it seems that the plan needs to be brought forward even further. Mr. Long, this world has been completely ignited by the will of fire. Sabo was extremely happy. He looked at the live broadcast. There, Ace the Fire Fist and Luffy the Straw Hat were exposed as brothers. But Luffy is Long's son. He also asked if Ace was his son, and he denied it. Why? We have never met before, but I feel like I have seen him somewhere before. Sabo stared at the live broadcast, his face full of confusion. When Long sets out, he must go with him to find the answer to this question. Mary Joa fell into anger at the barrage. But they could only be furious. With Ye Feng here, what can they do? Can they get information from the Kowloon dynasty? All the CP0s before never came back. Now they can't even find their bodies. They don't know whether they are alive or dead. Be patient, and you will see his head move soon. The strong man of the celestial dragon encouraged the others. You guys are waiting day and night, can you really wait until Ye Feng dies? No, why do you speak differently from us? The anger of the Tianlong people is probably the least important thing in this world. In the past, when the Tianlong people were angry, corpses were everywhere. Now when Ye Feng is angry, the sky collapses and the earth splits. I said, how about posting a few barrages? That's right, go call the person standing outside and ask him to post the barrage. Last year's gold in the sky is gone, but the difference from before is now mountains of gold and silver. I can't swallow this breath, how can the Tianlong people be defeated? I am so angry. I would rather let the world down than let the world let me down. Who are you? Why do you have so much beard? And you talk so strangely. The staff of the newspaper and the Golden City were quickly escorted by the guards to the Tianlong people. The Tianlong people, who were used to being arrogant, raised their hands. The guards brought boxes of gold to them. First put the guy named Wapol on the blacklist, and he will never be able to join the World Conference in his life. Let's get to the top again and let the whole world know about our Tianlong family and reputation. Finally, we will use bullet screens to clean up the live broadcast. We must not let anyone overshadow us. A Tianlong who looked particularly wise slapped the table. The other Tianlongs nodded. They have now been forced to lower their intelligence. No one wants Ye Feng to earn gold Baileys, but there is no way. I want to watch the live broadcast, but I can't swallow this breath. What can I do? Swish. The Tianlong's rewards and bullet screen rain were carried out at the same time, directly pushing Wapol to the 20th place. The 19 names in front were all named after the Tianlong's family surnames. The bullet screen directly covered the entire screen. Tianlong went to war, leaving no grass. No one can have more Pele than us. That idiot from before, dare you to tell me your real name without rewarding me? The celestial dragons join the battlefield. The people who were watching the live broadcast originally just regarded it as a joke, and thought that Ye Feng was going to rage the whole audience again. But what they saw was only the king of evil who occasionally showed his face in front of the camera, and otherwise just sat there to reap the benefits. Could it be that he really doesn't want to be a pirate anymore? I've never heard of it. When can even pirates retire? What about the bad things he did before? It's too willful. The celestial dragons personally came out and spent a lot of money, which made everyone jealous. The underground giants of the New World have seen the business opportunities contained in it. If I can get the live broadcast permission, can I also advertise for myself? The Sea King started to think. He was in charge of the transportation industry. Because he used membranes to travel the seabed, he was called the Sea King. He had basically no chance of being caught by the Navy, and he also wanted to make his business further. Hey, I have all the Baileys Ye Feng needs. If that guy Tizolo wants to take it all for himself, his appetite is too big. The Black Gold King smoked a cigar with a look of disdain. God knows what kind of shit luck Tizolo had, he actually defected to the new overlord of the sea. Kowloon Dynasty has a lot of customers, and it would be great if Happy Street could open a branch there. Stussy blew out a smoke ring. People standing at the forefront of the world seem to have seen the next brand new world without communication barriers. Chapter 98. Hey! What is he doing? What is this guy's headache? He is actually raising funds in this way. New world. Future kingdom. Vegapunk exclaimed. He had never thought that there was such a possibility. If he could do this, would he be able to raise a large amount of scientific research funds? If the technological products we invent can be sold to different kingdoms, then we can get funds to research more things that change people's lives. The first clone, Sakya, also thought it was very good. If this form is live broadcast, should we call it live broadcast with goods? Lilith, the second clone, thinks it is very feasible. That really couldn't be better. The clones all expressed their expectations. They completely overlooked one point, that is, if they want to start such a large-scale live broadcast, they need strong support and sufficient funds. On the big bed, the sixth clone York was sleeping soundly, but in his mind he had already begun to imagine the joy of becoming a member of the Kowloon dynasty. The Tianlong people are already in their twilight years, and they are purely supporting the world conference of the old era. When Ye Feng takes away all the gold and resources of the world's nobles like a vampire, they will completely withdraw from the stage of history. York sees this most clearly. Grand Line. Dragon Prison. When the barrage of comments from the celestial dragons poured in crazily, the gladiators present were obviously a little bit unbelievable. The celestial dragons finally ended up. Their pathetic dignity made them spend a huge amount of money to support Ye Feng. But what they didn't expect was that this also meant that everything they were once proud of would disappear. God doesn't care. It no longer refers to them who regard themselves as gods, but to Ye Feng who sits on the mountain and watches the tigers fight. He regards the arena and the audience as his own entertainment. Ye Feng just sits there. Ye Feng is taking a nap. It seems that he is too bored to fight without anyone. Audience before the live broadcast. I, Morgans, hereby announce in the name of the King of Evil that the preliminary round is over. Half of the people have been eliminated in the one-on-one match. But this is just an appetizer, the guys without courage have already lost. The next step is the real elimination round, and those who have come this far are guys with ambition and strength. They will eliminate more people who have ambition and courage but lack strength. Morgan's voice brought everyone back to the live broadcast. Their last trace of fear of the celestial dragons disappeared completely with the live broadcast rewards and barrage. It's strange to say, when seeing the celestial dragons frantically sabering and maintaining their so-called dignity in front of the world. Instead, I feel that they are just a group of ordinary people who are easily broken. After losing the support of the Navy, they appear weak and helpless. Instead, the drowsy man in the stands gave them a kind of invisible majesty. Ah! Feng stretched lazily. Is there anyone who can fight? If you can't even pass the elimination round, then you are not qualified to challenge me. Too weak. Feng thought they would become stronger in Dragon Prison. Unexpectedly, the preliminary round was so boring. Most people directly admitted defeat in front of their opponents, because the bounty of pirates and the position of the Navy. It directly told them the level of strength. The supernova, on the contrary, became a character that many big pirates and elite vice admirals looked down on. In the end, it was asking for trouble. The preliminary round was over. Most of the characters below the vice admiral were eliminated, and there were basically only a few people left in the supernova pirate group. The dozens of captains of the Whitebeard pirates also won and lost against other big pirates and elite vice admirals. In the end, there were still hundreds of winners. No one has tried his best in the battle, which made people shine. Luffy, will the next battle still be random? Zoro and Sanji sat on both sides of Luffy, eating hot pot to replenish their energy. I don't care about that. I must beat all the opponents in the next battle. Luffy wolfed down the food. Chopper was healing Usopp. Frankie was also seriously injured. Luffy. I don't seem to have enough energy to participate in the elimination match. Usopp cried and shouted, he regretted not going forward side by side with the captain. Chopper and Frankie are also injured, you should stay and recover. It's already great to be able to deal with those enemies. Luffy rarely speaks so clearly. Maybe it's because of the food he eats, his intelligence has also increased. But the most important thing is the uninterrupted training and fighting in these months. He also really understands that without domineering, it will be really difficult to face these strong men. The next battle is left to us. The trio looked at the enemy in front of them at the same time. No one knew which legend would be picked next. But if they wanted to become stronger, they had to defeat every opponent. The supernovas were all devouring. The remaining strong ones, even the Whitebeard pirates and the Navy vice admirals were the elite among the elites. In fact, ordinary pirates and marines worked in factories on other islands. Those who could stand here were all well known and strong. The knockout round is about to start. Let me introduce the new rules to you. This time, it is no longer a random opponent. Instead, the opponent is eliminated. No matter who it is, as long as you can eliminate one person, you can advance to the next round. That's right, even if you are a pirate with a bounty of 1 billion berries, you can also choose a newcomer with a bounty of tens of millions of berries. Of course, any form of cooperation is fine. In short, one person can eliminate one opponent on average. Are you ready? In an hour, the battle will start directly. Teezero spun and jumped, and gold powder sprinkled in the sky. It looked gorgeous. In the middle of this hour, a crazy live advertisement was launched. From the Mermaid Princess White Star brand Sea King jerky, sashimi, and salted fish, to the various specialties and products of the Kowloon dynasty. A wave of tourism was promoted. What about the prosperity and fantasy of Shampoo Land? The extravagance and luxury of the Golden City? The customs and special food of Fishman Island? There are also Elbaf and the Tontata tribe. Tickets for the first martial arts competition in Dragon Prison are only 1 million berries per ticket. The scene can accommodate 100,000 people to watch at the same time, but there is no compensation for being killed by the aftermath of the battle. Unless you buy the Kowloon Dynasty insurance for 10 million berries. After purchasing the insurance, you will receive a small lotus. Basically, if you don't get the Hades dog or something directly smeared on your face, you won't die. If you don't buy it, you will die on the spot. 1 hour later. The whole world witnessed the world's first live broadcast of an advertisement. Vegapunk excitedly slammed the table. This is the way he wanted to bring goods. Feng must be contacted as soon as possible. People who were watching the live broadcast at the same time understood one thing even more clearly. From now on, those islands moved away by Feng can still be visited. The nobles who were originally angry suddenly became cheerful. On the contrary, the celestial dragons were a little hesitant. They also want to go out, but if they go there, they will be hated. What if they get beaten? Things are different now. If they get beaten, the general can't help. Magellan might have a stomachache on the way and go back home. Chapter 99. Time is up. Welcome back. The knockout round starts now. Tisolo waved the golden scepter, and Morgans was even more ecstatic. The barrage did not stop at all. It was simply crazy. Great. He seemed to see countless Baileys and gold piled up into mountains and heading towards the Kowloon dynasty. The arena. The strong ones have already converted food into energy. The first preliminary winner, by 2, is still dumbfounded. What game has started? Where are my dad and mom? Should I take action? Who is the enemy? Bai looked silly, but it was different from before. People always liked to pick on the weak, and no one dared to get close to him. The navy chose to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. They were unwilling to recognize Bai's status as one of the 7 warlords of the sea, but now it seems that he is a good fighting force. Compared with the pirates, it is the navy who can control him better here. How to fight? Is it another fight between pirates? Hawkins looked towards the center of the battlefield. The 5 admirals of the navy were in front, each with their arms folded, looking disdainful. Behind them, there were Garp and Sengoku. The strength of the navy camp was completely overwhelming the pirate camp. It was just the Whitebeard pirates, the remnants of the Golden Lion, the remnants of the Blackbeard, or the supernovas. Their combined strength was no match for the navy. If the internal fighting continued, there would be no chance of entering the next round. Hey, is this what that guy is planning? He wants to see us kill each other, or all of us go up and be eliminated by the navy. Luo was sure that this was all Feng's conspiracy. Is that so? But even if we pirates lose, won't the navy kill each other in the next round? Kid didn't understand, but he had already started collecting scrap metal. No, it's not that simple. The navy will directly attack the opponent. Don't forget, we don't have the pirate king. But they do have admirals, marshals, and hero Garp. Things are far from as simple as we think. Apu patted his chest, and the sonic explosion flew directly to the admiral of the navy. Long-range attacks are really good, at least you can test it without fear. We have already experienced their strength. Even without the ability of the fruit, they are still oppressive enough. The strange monk Ulki said with a smile. He seemed to be always smiling. Winning or losing is not important, the reward is important. The king of evil will not let the battle be boring. That guy is a lunatic. After Drake finished complaining, he cursed in his heart. What the hell? Why don't you let him return to the navy at this time? Hacky? It's time for us to master that kind of power. Sanji stepped forward and tilted his head. A bullet flew past his cheek. Red light flashed quickly in his eyes. The cigarette in his mouth was still emitting grey smoke. Cutting everything with a sword is the art of defending against the enemy. Zoro's sword was shining again. Black air covered the sword in the blink of an eye. I'm full, I'll beat everyone up. Luffy pounded his fists and looked up at the seemingly invincible enemy in front of him. The supernovas were confident, but they were ignorant and fearless. On the contrary, the captains of the Whitebeard pirates began to look for opportunities. If anyone attacks the pirates next time, don't blame us for being rude. Diamond Jaws warned Green Bull. He didn't believe that trees could absorb the life of diamonds. My sword also wants to fight against the Admiral of the Navy. In Vista's eyes, Fujitora is also a good opponent. Leave it to me for now, Kizaru. Marco turned into a phoenix, with blue flames burning endlessly. Flying in the air, he was able to minimize the impact of the cage made of sea stone by detaching from the ground. Luffy, watch out, this is a battle between the strong. Fire Fist Ace took a step forward. His whole body turned into flames. As the first person to attack, he punched out directly. The flames were fierce, covering the field of vision and directly dividing the pirates and the navy into two camps. Fire Fist. As expected, the Whitebeard pirates took the lead. We can't let the pirates be so arrogant anymore. Even in Dragon Prison, people watching the live broadcast will lose confidence in the navy. Akainu stepped forward and was about to attack. The cold air had already rushed out and passed by his shoulder. The ice wall was so tall that it rivaled the high wall of fire. Ice is really in the way. Akainu was unhappy. He wanted to take this opportunity to wipe out all the pirates. He had said before that he had to maintain his physical strength. Now it seems that it was a complete joke. The first thing to do is to defeat all opponents. Stand in front of Ye Feng in person. Only by defeating the king of extreme evil can we truly turn the tide. Destroy them all, Sakazuki. Kizaru put his hands in his pockets, looking like he was just watching the fun. The stands are specially built, and we are blocked by the sea stone and cannot go to the stands. No matter how angry we are, it will be useless. As Fujitora said this, he drew out his long sword. Swoosh! The short sword returned. A meteorite tried to hit from outside the cage, but it was blocked by the sea stone, and only some debris fell. There is no advantage at all. Fujitora complained. The attack came again without showing any weakness. How could they give up so easily? The heavy pressure rushed towards the pirate camp. It's really annoying, it's just a few words from that guy. You have become headless flies, if you have such a childish mentality. How can you become stronger? Do you think you can defeat him if you go out now? Hawkeye has no sword in his hand, but he doesn't care anymore. Since the duel with Ye Feng, he has been trying to comprehend the power of the domineering sword. Only by constantly reflecting on oneself and learning from the opponent can one truly transform and surpass oneself. Hawkeye understands this better than anyone else. Otherwise, he would not have become the world's #1 swordsman in the past. I almost forgot that we have a great swordsman who once topped the world's strongest swordsman. Sea Knight Jinbei originally stood in the middle of the battlefield. As one of the 7 warlords of the sea, he wanted to weigh the pros and cons and not waste too much energy internally. Now that he felt the power of Hawkeye, he understood. All the strong are eager to become stronger. They are not trying to defeat any opponent to prove that they are stronger. That is meaningless. These people want to do only one thing, and that is to be the final winner. It doesn't matter what title they get. The only thing these people want to do is to face Ye Feng in person and challenge him. My hawk, don't forget your identity, you are still one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Zengakuo knew that with the weakening of the fruit ability. Hawkeye, a master of domineering power at the peak of his powers, was quite powerful. There was no need to create too many enemies. The agreement ended the moment the vicious war ended. There is no need to hide your fangs. Go ahead and make the final winner stronger. Hawkeye walked out of the pirate camp, and his domineering aura seemed to burst out from his eyes. The sword energy was first hidden in the cracks, and as it got closer and closer to the navy, it instantly turned into a rain of swords in the sky.